Kevin, much appreciated. We'll be back with you before the day is out. But for the next couple of hours on 5 Sports Extra, it is all about the Premier League champions Liverpool at a resplendent Anfield, where they will collect the Premier League trophy for the 20th time, First Division champions. The city has been abuzz with atmosphere and noise, and the teams emerge from the tunnel way down below us. We have a wonderful view from the main stand of Anfield. The flag's waving in the Kop. There's a huge banner that says, "A team that plays the Liverpool way and wins the championship in May." They actually won it in April, hence was their domination. But this will be a special moment. A guard of honour from the Crystal Palace players to the Premier League champions. And in what is surely a first, Liverpool themselves will also form a guard of honour. So the FA Cup winners, Crystal Palace, can have their moment as well. There is very much a celebratory feel to today's game. Dean Henderson, having began the guard of honour for Liverpool, now leads his team through the guard of honour that Liverpool are giving Crystal Palace. And everyone on their feet applauding. The Palace fans in the Anfield Road stand to our left on their feet. What a week they've had. And the Liverpool fans joining in the applause as well. Campione reads a huge tifo made by the placards in the Sir Kenny Dalglish stand. And now Campione, Campione rings around this famous old ground. The Premier League trophy will be Liverpool's at just after 6 o'clock tonight. It is a Community Shield dress rehearsal, the Premier League champions against the FA Cup winners, and you just hope and you do expect that there will be a game that will mark the atmosphere, and hopefully goals and entertainment aplenty. Stephen Warnock will be alongside me once he's finished his duties over on 5 Live. Of course, there's Champions League to get stuck into, with 5 teams going for the remaining 3 spots. We'll keep you bang up to date with all of the goals as they go in here on 5 Sports Extra, but our focus is full commentary of Liverpool against Crystal Palace. Team news: 4 changes for Liverpool from a 3-2 defeat at Brighton. Andy Robertson, Virgil van Dijk, Luis Diaz and Curtis Jones come in, so Trent Alexander-Arnold will start his final Liverpool game on the bench. Alisson, Bradley, Konate, Van Dijk, Robertson, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, Salah, Jones, Gakpo, Diaz. The Crystal Palace team in just a moment. But for the final time this Premier League season, "You'll Never Walk Alone," which will be belted out with a fraction more gusto this afternoon, you feel, because of the momentous season Arne Slot and Liverpool have had. First Division champions for the 20th time. And it doesn't matter how many times you hear it. It's always a very special moment when Anfield, in unison, blast out, "You'll never walk alone." So we are ready for the 38th and final game of the Premier League season. The Premier League champions Liverpool against the FA Cup winners Crystal Palace on what is now a cloudy late afternoon on Merseyside. The sun doing its best to try and battle through some rather thick-looking clouds, so rain is not an impossibility. We just hope it doesn't come when Liverpool are lifting the trophy in a couple of hours' time. Crystal Palace are all in yellow, and they will be getting us underway. The players take a knee, one of the games that is marked as a recognition of the work that needs to be done to still improve, with racism still rife in the game. But we are underway at Anfield. Crystal Palace, yellow shirts, yellow shorts, yellow socks, defending the goal away to our left-hand side. Liverpool all in red from head to toe. It's the reds against the yellows, a very old-fashioned feel. And it's a good afternoon to former Liverpool and England defender Stephen Warnock. Stephen, good to see you, and always a great atmosphere, but a little bit more feeling to it today.
Oh, absolutely has. I mean, the party atmosphere has definitely started, but not just from the Liverpool fans, from the Crystal Palace fans. Both sets of fans extremely vocal and extremely happy at this point of the season, and rightly so. Incredible achievement from both sets of players.
Liverpool keeping early possession. There are several red balloons dotted around the Liverpool half, so the players will do well to avoid those. We don't want another Pepe Reina Sunderland moment from yesteryear. Gakpo near side the left, Liverpool going from right to left. Konate is inside the centre circle, surveys the scene, drags his foot over the ball, finds Conor Bradley with Alexander-Arnold on the bench, and now the ball on that far side with Mohamed Salah, who will be keen to be involved in any kind of goal today to set a new Premier League record for goal involvements. The Crystal Palace side, conscious that I haven't run you through the Crystal Palace side with a couple of minutes into the game. They've made 4 changes from their previous game, and that was a very good victory over Wolves in midweek. They're keeping possession just outside the penalty area. It's with Will Hughes, base of the centre circle, infield to Mateta. What a good season he's had, away from Konate. His first time ball, looking for the run of Sarr. That's easily picked up by Bradley. And Stephen, I think everyone's anticipating a relaxed game with plenty of goals, given that both sides are in celebratory mood.
Yeah, quite possibly. One thing I would say is that Liverpool will want to get a victory here today, because it will make the trophy lift a little bit bitter if they don't get that victory. Yes, they want to enjoy that moment, but you enjoy it so much more when you win the game in focus as well.
Konate steps in front of Mateta and finds Andy Robertson. League appearance number 350 for the Liverpool left back. Gakpo's ball into the penalty area. Salah's at the back post. So too is Mitchell, and he heads it behind for the first corner of the afternoon. 0-0.
He does well, Mitchell, at the back post, because he just knows Salah might be lurking close to him, and he was just on his shoulder. Had he have allowed that ball to try and drift out of play, Salah would have capitalised on it. So he's got to be aware of that, Mitchell, because so often Salah stands behind you. You lose the flight of the ball because you're so aware of where he might be.
One hand in the air from Szoboszlai, who delivers into the penalty area, evades everyone in red. Hughes was there, and now Eza can spring the counter-attack, and we know Palace are so threatening. They demonstrated it perfectly in the cup final, but a foot in there, and that counter-attack that looked menacing comes to nothing.
Yeah, well, if it hadn't have been Virgil van Dijk, I think there would have been a little bit more nerves within the Liverpool crowd. He just ate the ground up on Eza. Usually Eza will drive away from most players, but Van Dijk just extended those long legs and leaned on the shoulder of Eza, and then he misplaced the pass to be intercepted by Conor Bradley.
So those 4 Palace changes: Mitchell, Kamada, Eza and Mateta are in. Henderson, the goalkeeper, the familiar back 3 that Ole Glasner likes to deploy. Lerma, Lacroix and Richard, so still no Mark Gahey. Munoz, Hughes, Kamada and Mitchell across the midfield. Sarr and Eza behind Mateta. as Alisson has some tidying up to do before Mitchell can roam into the penalty area. An early throw to the rampaging Bradley. First time ball was the plan, but that side foot pass not hit with the required accuracy. Meant for Salah, out of play for a throw that Palace will have in their left back area. 4 minutes played, 0-0.
That hit the assistant referee on the back of the head.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, I think he shanked it out of play and it hit the assistant referee on the head.
Touch of an assistant referee because the ball went straight out of play. That's why he's running the line and he's not on the field. Kamada to Eza, halfway line. Hughes with the bleach blonde hair, the ball just in front of Munoz, and that drops out of play for a Liverpool throw. We've only played 5 minutes already. We've seen, as you mentioned earlier, Stephen, Jurgen Klopp is here. He's in the house. The man who belted out Arne Slot's name this time last year is watching his successor coach a team that'll lift the Premier League trophy. It'll be a special moment for him.
Yeah, I think he'll enjoy the occasion because he's got a great affiliation with a lot of the players who are on show, most of the players who are on show. Liverpool come forward now. Jones
looking for Salah, the slide rule pass. Salah would have had a clear run on goal, but it was well blocked by Lacroix. Now the early ball forward for Mateta, and Konate comes out of his centre-back home, and that's out of play for a Crystal Palace throw midway inside the Liverpool half. Great expectation around Anfield. They were around in their thousands many hours before kickoff. I'm sure that the city was alive and well last night, and I'm sure it'll be the case this evening as well. And for the parade tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, the city's bouncing already. I was in the city centre yesterday, and the amount of shirts, scarves and things, Champions merchandise that was being sold in and around the city was absolutely incredible. And the streets are going to be lined tomorrow. As I said before, they've been waiting for this for 5 years now. They couldn't celebrate the last victory. They're going to make the most of this one. They're going to let everyone know how much they're going to enjoy it as well, the Liverpool fans, and why not? I mean, we saw the scenes from when they came back from Istanbul, which was 20 years ago, to the day, and you look at that and think, wow, incredible.
Crystal Palace have possession inside the Liverpool half, far side the left, as Palace go from left to right. 6 minutes played, 5 Sports Extra from the BBC. Diaz with some clever feet to skip away from Ismaila Sarr, and now Robertson has it in the back line. Van Dijk back in the team. The only Premier League game he's missed this season was that 3-2 defeat to Brighton, with Arne Slot keen to give some minutes to players that haven't had too many this season. Jarrell Quansah at the back in particular. Van Dijk to the Hungarian Szoboszlai. Has to skip away from a balloon, does the long-haired Van Dijk. Konate down the line. Salah dropping deep to get involved. Konate now roaming towards the edge of the Palace penalty area. Hughes in the way of that. Eza with some nice feet to get away from Konate, but that momentum took him into Jones. Szoboszlai can skip forward, not with any great pace, and Palace are doing their best to swarm around Liverpool whenever they get hold of the ball, and Tyreek Mitchell can plot Crystal Palace forward. It'll be all about Liverpool at the end of the match, Stephen, but you have mentioned Crystal Palace and the ability that they've had in the last couple of days, the last couple of games, to really enjoy their football. What a season they've had. Record points total in the Premier League, and of course winning the FA Cup, first piece of silverware in their 119-year history, and European football next season. It's incredible, isn't it, that no one's talking about the first 8 games of the season when they didn't pick up a point, and the belief was kept. Sarr, edge of the area, unmarked, right foot shot, Sarr into the bottom corner, and out of nowhere Crystal Palace score. Liverpool loose, the early ball forward, Sarr between both centre-backs, and he strokes the ball into the bottom left-hand corner to silence Anfield. Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 1. Yeah, Liverpool leave themselves far too open at the back. They're trying to play out, and it just leaves a gap from where Crystal Palace are pressing, and Ismaila Sarr picks up a beautiful position in between the two centre-backs. It's a mistake from Conor Bradley, who just plays the ball into midfield. It gets cut out, and then quick snap ball into that central position to Sarr from Mitchell, and he turns and slots it under Alisson. Silent, the crowd went silent straight away because that's not what they're expecting today. However, they've just picked the noise levels up again, Liverpool fans trying to back the team. Ismaila Sarr's 12th goal of the season. He's had a really good campaign for Crystal Palace, a bargain at £12 million from Marseille, the former Watford forward, and he took that really well. The Crystal Palace fans enjoyed that. Away to our left in the Anfield Road stand, notice a red flare was ignited. And as you say, Stephen, the Liverpool fans did fall silent, but very quick to get behind their side. They'll be mightily relieved that this game has very little riding on it in terms of the title, but even so, it's one they'll want to win. That's not the start they wanted. No, it's not at all, but Crystal Palace are such a dangerous team. The way they play this system, and I know it's much talked about at Manchester United, it's a little bit more negative in the way that Manchester United play it, but the way Crystal Palace play it with that forward line of Sarr, Mateta and Eze, it's very, very attack-minded, and when they do get in forward positions, they're very difficult to catch because of that speed in which they move the ball forward. But really intelligent play from Ismaila Sarr, great position he took up for the goal. Eze with a first-time pass, Munoz racing through the centre of the Liverpool half, the indefatigable right wing-back who crops up here, there and everywhere. He's out of position for now. Richards comes across to cover, and Lacroix goes all the way back to Henderson, who had quite an eventful FA Cup final with that penalty save from Omar Marmoush. Whether he should have been on the field to make that save was a debate that raged on for a couple of days. Van Dijk in his own half, and Liverpool can plot forward. And beaten in last 16 at Anfield, the only defeat they suffered in the Premier League here came very early against Nottingham Forest. Munoz dispossesses Jones, Sarr with the early ball forward, Mateta was the target. That's cut out by Robertson, and Gravenberch on the base of the centre circle can turn away from Mateta and find Bradley, who didn't really look as he played that forward. I think the recipient was Salah, who wasn't expecting it, and the touch came in, and then Sarr was in a very nice little gap between the two centre-halves. Yeah, Konate had just disappeared a little bit as well, higher up the pitch, so it's clever from Ismaila Sarr to spot that gap. Salah, early ball to Szoboszlai. That's read by Mitchell. Kamada into the feet of Sarr in the bright sunshine here at Anfield. Early ball from Eze. Mateta's on that last line. He's determined to break through that Liverpool back line. He's had a couple of opportunities to do so. Robertson's rather hopeful ball forward, that's seen off at the edge of the Palace penalty area. Van Dijk then wins a powerful header against Mateta. Gakpo trying to make something of this. Szoboszlai can calm things down, and Gravenberch can bring Bradley into the game. Salah hugging the touchline, far side the Liverpool right, infield to the young Northern Irish right back. The give and go, although the go wasn't quite there. Mitchell against Salah, and that's out of play for a Crystal Palace goal kick. They lead this game 1-0, 12 minutes played. Yeah, I was just watching the body language of Virgil van Dijk there. He's getting really frustrated. Yes, you want a party atmosphere and you want to enjoy yourself when you're on the pitch, but he knows you enjoy by winning, and he's having a little pop at a few of the players, telling them to up the game. It's unacceptable, the standards that they've set so far in the game, but credit to Crystal Palace. Palace are the better team in terms of form, and beaten in their last 5. Here's Luis Diaz with a nice spin on the edge of the Palace penalty area, left hand side. Gakpo delivers with his right foot. Salah emerging, but that was always Henderson's. Not quite the right trajectory on that cross, and a fairly comfortable catch for the goalkeeper named in the England squad, one of 3. Spider Cam swooping. We are above the level of Spider Cam, so it always catches our eyes. It swoops across the Anfield pitch. Here's Kamada, good strength to hold off Szoboszlai, and then away from Diaz. Munoz helps him out, and the Japanese midfielder can pick things up once again. Palace and Oliver Glasner will be very happy with this start. They have not really been under any great threat at the back, and they've got that all-important goal. Yeah, they've been very comfortable so far, Crystal Palace. Liverpool just a little bit sloppy in possession, whereas Crystal Palace have been a lot sharper with their passing. Salah running at 2 Palace players, both Lerma and Mitchell, and it's the 2 in yellow that beat the man in red. Mateta against Konate. That's a good challenge, Konate. Played it against Mateta, and that'll be out of play for a Liverpool throw midway through the Crystal Palace half. Must be tough, Stephen, as a player when you get to this stage of the season, when the hard work has been done. You've already secured the Premier League trophy. You have done for a month. I know players play to win, and every pro will say that, but there must be a little bit of difficulty trying to get yourself up for a game when you know the hard work's been done.
Yeah, it must be as well for the players, but also as well to the fear of picking up an injury and knowing that if you pick an injury up today, that you could be spending the next month or so within the training ground, and you're thinking you need that rest, you want to go away, you want to rest your body and take that time to recover.
Salah ominously positioned, central area of the pitch. Szoboszlai is playing where Salah would have been on that far side, the right. Bradley has to go all the way back to Virgil van Dijk in the centre circle. That's a lovely looking ball to Robertson at the back post. Munoz gets there first. Jones will elect not to keep this in play, but the flag is up on that far side, so Robertson must have moved a fraction too soon, and Crystal Palace will have this free kick in their right back position. Palace, who, as you mentioned, Stephen, had that start to the season, failing to win the first 8 games, and there were a couple of question marks over Oliver Glasner. He'd had such a good start to his Palace career, and I think that's why the expectation was Palace could have a really good season. But after 8 games, we were thinking, well, relegation battle ahead. Yeah,
I think it was interesting listening to him speak after the FA Cup final, where he said he can't thank the board enough, but he almost told the board that the players that he was losing at the end of last season, but the players that he was definitely bringing in weren't up to speed. They weren't ready for the Premier League at the moment, so it might take them a few weeks to pick up some points. I don't think he expected it to be 8 games, but listen, you need a board that trusts you, but I think the job he's done has been quite brilliant. I think it'll be interesting as well, Chris, is what happens next year. Now they've lost Dougie Freeman. Who's going to go out and find them players, because their business has been incredible. They don't spend much in the market, but they buy quality.
And several of those players who have played under Oliver Glasner, the likes of Maxence Lacroix, Daichi Kamada as well, Ismail Assar, a player that Palace had tracked for a long time, even during his Watford days. I think there may have been a few eyebrows raised when he joined, but he has proved very, very good value, and it's his goal that separates the two sides. Liverpool keeping very safe possession in the shade, with half of the pitch in sun, watery sunshine, and half in the shade from the roof above the main stand. Diaz with a loose pass over to Salah, that's easily read by Mitchell. Mateta sets off, but Mitchell slips and Salah dispossesses him infield. That's too far ahead of both Diaz and Szoboszlai. Konate's in very quickly to get Liverpool going on their way, and here is Robertson just outside the penalty area. Good ball in, Salah attacks it, just a little bit too high for him in the end. Mitchell away, and Eza can fire it to Lerma, who then does complete the clearance. Liverpool looking for that back post pass regularly. It's not quite come off thus far. No, when you've got a back 3 in like Crystal Palace do, you often think, well, if you can hope that one of the wing backs switches off and Salah can drift in, and Mitchell does just lose a little bit of concentration or lose where he is. Bradley drives down the right now. Early ball in that is missed by Richards. Szoboszlai on the edge of the penalty area. Gravenberch. Liverpool ratcheting up the pressure, trailing 1-0. Gakpo onto his right foot, shooting opportunities, running out of space. Here's Gravenberch instead, doesn't score too many. Bradley on the overlap, right hand side of the penalty area. Liverpool waiting for the perfect moment to either shoot or to cross, and there seemed to be several perfect moments, but they denied, or they refused, the opportunity. Yeah, well, Crystal Palace have had a dress rehearsal of this last week, or a couple of weeks ago in the FA Cup final against Manchester City. They know how to defend. They know that they're going to get moved from side to side. It's about staying compact in the shape. It's about Liverpool being patient now to try and break them down. Liverpool 0, Palace 1. 18 minutes have elapsed on 5 Sports Extra, the final day of the Premier League season. Robertson's corner, the header is up rather than out. Hughes will complete it to comparative safety. Bradley can pick up the pieces centre circle, and Curtis Jones, he'll be delighted he's in the team. The Liverpudlian, it'll mean a great deal to him, lifting the Premier League trophy in front of his adoring fans later. Bradley looking for options in front of him. Square it goes. Gravenberch, another who's had a very, very good season. The Premier League's young player of the season, Ryan Gravenberch, was also in the running for player of the season, which Mo Salah has collected yet again. Palace themselves not the most assured in possession, and this is all the way back with Robertson, and Liverpool can start again, trailing 1-0, and we're in the 19th minute. Ibrahima Konate, who celebrates his 26th birthday today, spreads it out to this near side, the left, but that's hit with Disappointing accuracy. Munoz in the way again. Here's Sarr, the recipient from the Hughes ball. This time Crystal Palace are not able to find a yellow shirt, and Liverpool have it back again. And this game has just been punctuated by maybe some forgivable end-of-season sloppiness.
Yeah, it's not been great quality so far, but perhaps we can get some here.
Gakpo, edge of the penalty area, left-hand side again, coming in onto his right foot. Konate's on the edge. Oh, I'm not sure who he saw there, Konate. I think tried to lift it back into the path of the on-rushing Gakpo, but that's easy for Henderson. Comfortable catch, and it remains Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 1.
Yeah, I just think sometimes when Gakpo's got the ball on the left-hand side, he's a little bit predictable coming in and trying to deliver that ball with his right foot. Change things up a little bit, run the full-back down the line, make it uncomfortable for him. I do like Munoz though from Crystal Palace. I think he's been another excellent signing. When you think of that wing-back position that Crystal Palace play, he absolutely suits it to a T. Great going forward, bags of energy in the way that he plays. Wouldn't be surprised if there'd be a couple of teams interested in him.
Yeah, 6 goals this season. Daniel Munoz did sign a contract in January to take him through to 2028, but yeah, you're right, you wonder how much of that is Crystal Palace protecting their asset, knowing what's to come. Many assists as well, Daniel Munoz. And he's got some defending to do here because Diaz is running down his channel. His early ball for Jones is blocked once again by a yellow-shirted Crystal Palace player. Mateta is galloping after this. Konate steps across and thought about playing it back to Alisson. The little drop of the shoulder, crowd appreciated that, and now Alisson does have space in which to clear for Liverpool. Spurs lead at home to Brighton. The Europa League winners 1-up at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Dominic Solanke has scored there, and Brentford lead away at Wolves. Brentford, who still have an outside chance of 8th place, which may well yet be enough for Conference League football. A lot depends on what Chelsea do against Betis in the Conference League final on Wednesday. Brian Mbeumo has scored at Molineux. Cleverton, Ryan Gravenberg. Good advantage played by referee Darren England because Gakpo has it just inside the penalty area, left-hand side. Robertson with another ball into the back post. Salah beaten to it. Here is Konate, 35 yards out, centrally positioned. The responsibility passed to Salah via Szoboszlai. Salah away from Mitchell. Clever ball. Not quite on Conor Bradley's wavelength. He wasn't too far away from it, but the ball hit with a little too much pace.
Yeah, I just don't think Conor Bradley thought the pass would get there. Didn't think that Salah would be able to find him, and it just nutmegged. I think it was Lerma who was in front of him, wasn't it? A lovely little ball from Mohamed Salah, but they're just not quite finding that end product at the moment. There was a crossing from Andrew Robertson, and there's 3 or 4 players hanging out at the edge of the box, and you're thinking the one thing he wants to do is deliver this ball into the box. Go and get yourself on the end of it, get yourself a header or a tap-in.
Manchester City lead away at Fulham. Ilkay Gundogan has scored at Craven Cottage. Fulham 0, Manchester City 1. That would be more than enough for Manchester City to secure Champions League football next season. Realistically, a point will be enough for them. Palace lead here at Anfield by 1-0. Ismaila Sarr's early strike after some haphazard Liverpool build-up play. Took it well, did Sarr. Liverpool have dominated possession since then, which is of no real surprise, but haven't done a great deal with it. They're probing but not breaking through.
I'm going to be a super agent here.
Go on.
You're just talking about Mbeumo.
Yeah.
He's another player that could be looked at by other clubs and think, wouldn't mind him on the books.
Yeah.
He's been magnificent this season, hasn't he?
Yeah, Brentford fans won't thank you for saying that, but it's no secret he's had a wonderful season. There's been a few in the red and white of Brentford that have caught the eye. Johan Visser, another one. Hughes in quickly to dispossess Robertson, and now can move Palace forward. A ball backwards of square to Ebery Eze on the edge of the box. Left-footed ball in that Munoz will head back across goal, and Kamada is at the back post. Bradley heads behind, and for a moment... Oh, there's a flag up down here. Yeah, well spotted. Flag up, that must have been on Munoz. So the attack comes to nothing. But an example there of how keen Daniel Munoz is to scamper up the field and provide some attacking impetus for his Crystal Palace side.
Yeah, well, that's the ball come in from Eze as well. You had Mitchell bombing down the left-hand side, overlapping him, allowing him to get that cross in. They are very attack-minded, the two wing-backs, should I say, from Crystal Palace. I do enjoy watching them. I've said this many times on the record, I'm not a huge fan of the system, but they do play this system extremely well, Crystal Palace.
They certainly do. Konate Szoboszlai and Bradley now bursting into the Palace half, far side the right. Salah is a couple of yards in from the touchline. Mitchell out to meet him, and it cannons off Palace's left wing back and out of play for a Liverpool throw. They are moving the ball forward as they like to do, Liverpool, with directness at times, as demonstrated there. Bradley on the edge of the penalty area, dispossessed. Kamada runs into trouble, runs straight into Bradley, who didn't stop his run. Gakpo's on the left of the penalty area, on this near side, the left, for the red shirts of Liverpool, going from right to left. Gakpo up against Richards, onto his left foot. Richards prevents the corner. Does he? No. Nearly. But the flag up on that far side points to the corner flag, and Liverpool have a chance with this set piece. 25 minutes in, Liverpool 0, Palace 1.
Yeah, just by going down the line, he creates a little bit of a challenge there for Chris Richards, and then wins his team a corner. Now they've taken it quick, Liverpool.
Edge of the area, Szoboszlai from the pass from Robertson. Palace were a little bit sleepy there, but the cross is dealt with. Szoboszlai can reload on the edge of the penalty area. His right-footed ball into that corridor of uncertainty. Van Dijk was lurking. Salah picks up the loose ball, and Liverpool can start again. The yellow-booted Gravenberch, centrally positioned. Jones, Szoboszlai urging Jones to come forward. Robertson's on the angle of the penalty area. Szoboszlai 30 yards out, clever. Diaz on the edge of the penalty area. Luis Diaz a couple of yards wide. Excellent effort. Everyone in the stadium knew what he was trying. Rolled it onto his right foot to open the angle to bend into that back post, and he did exactly that. I don't think Henderson was getting there, but it was inch or so wide.
Yeah, it was a full stretch, wasn't he, Henderson? He wasn't getting there. It was probably beating him, but brilliant from Szoboszlai as he goes to shoot. Everyone's expecting the shot. Crystal Palace players race out to prevent that hammer of a right foot that he has from getting a shot on goal, and just as he's about to hit it, he just slows himself down, reverses the ball beautifully into Diaz, and he gets his shot away, as you said, Chris. But that's better from Liverpool.
And he's been another in very good recent form, Luis Diaz. 4 goals in his last 5 matches. Had that excellent spell, didn't he, right at the start of the season, where he seemed to score 2 goals every other game. He's on the ball again now, close to the corner flag, near side the left, wants the corner and doesn't get the corner. Munoz played it against Diaz, and that'll be Dean Henderson's ball way down to our left-hand side. Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 1. Still the thick clouds overhead. The view you're afforded from, I was going to say the new main stand. It's not new anymore. It must be a good 3 or 4 years old now, but still excellent view you have across the city centre. A city centre that will be packed with red tomorrow, with the parade to showcase the Premier League trophy, the 20th time they've lifted the Premier League trophy, the first division title, level now with Manchester United. Hughes and Mateta link up really nicely. Mateta now into the Liverpool penalty area. His low ball across, looking for Sarr, just behind the Palace goal scorer. And now it's Liverpool's turn to maybe do a Crystal Palace and break forward quickly. Lovely turn, Gravenberch spinning away from Kamada, and then felled by Sarr, who will do well to escape a yellow card, but escape he does. And Liverpool get on with things quickly. That was a nice break from Liverpool, but prematurely ended by Sarr.
Yeah, lovely turn from Gravenberch, wasn't it? I think he just lost his balance ever so slightly as well. I think that's probably why Sarr didn't pick up the yellow card. I think the referee was a little bit kind to probably give that foul as well. But you were just talking there, Chris, about the fans coming in. I think you can see the road straight ahead of us. That will be absolutely packed come full time, with Liverpool fans heading down towards the ground to celebrate.
Gakpo, give and go with Robertson, edge of the penalty area, lift it to the back post. Szoboszlai rises, really well headed away by Mitchell, with some last gasp defending. Van Dijk to Robertson. Liverpool still putting the pressure on the edge of the penalty area. Gakpo to Robertson, another early ball in, up go the heads. It'll drop to Bradley, who's just inside the penalty area. Eza battling, Salah's right on the edge, on the periphery of the box, right hand side. Gravenberch's ball, Diaz attacks it, heads over the bar. They're getting closer, are Liverpool. Diaz twice now in the last 2 minutes, a shot from the edge of the area, and on this occasion a header. Doesn't score too many headers, and this one over the bar.
I think he should score. I think he does everything right, Diaz, to get in between the fullback, the wing-back Munoz and Chris Richards, and he just squeezes in between the two of them, and he gets a clear header on the ball. but Liverpool have been bombarding Crystal Palace with cross after cross, and they're quite a big backline, Crystal Palace, and they've stood up to most things, but we just know that one moment of quality, you put that right ball in and give them an opportunity, they will punish you, and I think they should have punished them there.
It does feel like Liverpool goal is coming, although you felt that for large spells of the cup final with Manchester City pushing forward, and Crystal Palace held firm, and they have held firm with 29 and a bit minutes played at Anfield. Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 1. BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra. Still Forest 0, Chelsea 0. That's over on 5 Live. Wolves 0, Brentford 1 is available for you on Sports Extra 2. Our brand new streams on the BBC Sounds app. Just head to the BBC Sounds app, scroll across the top, and you'll see Sports Extra numbers 2 and 3. And here's Hughes now galloping towards the edge of the Liverpool box, 30 yards out. Several Liverpool players get back at Sarr. Konate stretches out a big leg. Sarr wins it back. Mateta's onside and scores for Palace, but the flag denies him. And I think he knew. It always had the feel of a move that would be denied eventually by the offside flag. He finished it really well, Mateta, used his strength, but he moved a fraction too soon, and it remains Liverpool 0, Palace 1.
Yeah, it was a very similar finish to the Ismaila Sarr one, where he found himself in the centre of the box. He just strays half a yard offside, and when you saw Conor Bradley trying to get back at him, he was the wrong side of him. You always felt that Mateta had just strayed ever so fractionally too early, and he had, and Liverpool are just trying to, or the Liverpool fans should have said, just trying to lift the team. It's very flat at the moment from Liverpool.
Yeah, atmosphere has just dropped at its noise level as well. Liverpool having all of the ball, but Dean Henderson as yet has had a very straightforward afternoon with just a couple of crosses to come and claim, which he's done with minimal fuss. Van Dijk spreads it smoothly to Gakpo on this left-hand side, again in on his right foot, again the ball to the back post, again headed away, this time on the penalty spot by Lacroix. And Van Dijk in the blue boots has to go all the way back to Alisson. And we can just hear a few murmurs of discontent from the Liverpool fans. They were, I think, expecting a little bit more from their side, especially a little bit more going forward, given the pressure is off and the desire, and I'm sure the players have the desire too, to put on a show.
Yeah, I think there's an interesting thing. I was at the game against Tottenham Hotspur when he won the league, and even though they went 1-0 behind, there was still a feeling like, oh, this is Tottenham.
Yeah.
They're not great defensively. I think there's a feeling here, Crystal Palace are really good, or can be really good defensively. They can have a really good structure. They're dangerous on the break. So this has a little bit of a different feel about it, where Liverpool fans almost know that this is a tough game for Liverpool now.
Konate to Bradley, all the way back to Alisson. Liverpool have had an excellent season in that regard, of coming from behind. They've won 22 points from losing positions, the most comfortably, the most in the Premier League. Their resolve is good when they need to battle from positions of difficulty. Kamada now looks way offside, but the flag stays down for now. Mateta found him. Kamada onto his right foot. Eza now collects on the edge of the penalty area onto his right foot. Will think about shooting. Twinkle toes his way across the penalty area. Munoz now, who's just outside the box, back to Eza. What can he do from this position? Low ball in. Mateta hits the bar. That is offside, and up goes the flag, and we wonder whether that was for the original one or for that one.
No, it wasn't. It was for that one, because the original one, I kept my eye on the assistant referee, and someone was shouting across, I think it was Van Dijk, saying he's offside, and he wagged his fingers to say no, he wasn't.
Okay.
He was happy that he was onside, so it would have gone to VAR had it have been a goal.
But there was no doubt Mateta was offside.
Yeah, very true.
For the second one, his right foot shot hit the crossbar, so it didn't matter anyway. Diaz, Van Dijk, Robertson, and Diaz again, all this on the near side, the left, at no great tempo. Van Dijk has it once again, sent the circle, birthday boy Konate. What a celebration he'll have later for numerous reasons. Van Dijk again, and now Robertson. And Palace, they shift across so well. The organisational structure that they have, lauded all season. It's a structure that Oliver Glasner used very successfully at his previous clubs, Wolfsburg and Eintracht Frankfurt, when he won the Europa League, and he's having a very successful time with Palace. That's a good ball into Szoboszlai at the front post. Just got in front of Lacroix, but never really had the angle to direct the header goalwards, and that's out of play for a Palace goal kick. They continue to lead this game 1-0.
Yeah, didn't have the pace, did it, either, from the cross for Mohamed Salah into Szoboszlai, so had to generate all the power himself. Really difficult for him to do that. But there just doesn't seem to be any urgency from Liverpool. It's almost like just going through the motions. They're looking forward to lifting the trophy, and they're just accepting that that's what they want to do today.
Palace on the road have been very strong. They've beaten Wolves and Spurs in their last 2 on the road. They've not won 3 successive away games, or they've only won 3 successive away games once this season. Liverpool normally score, though. The last 33 Premier League matches, Liverpool have got a goal, and there's still plenty of time in this game to extend that particular statistic. Here is Bradley to Van Dijk.
Well, how many times have we seen Liverpool just produce a moment of magic out of nowhere and changes the game, and then suddenly that momentum just picks up? So we know they're very, very capable. That's why they're the champions of England.
Indeed. Bradley to Salah. First time cross for Diaz, headed away. Eza thought about accelerating to get on the end of that, thought better of it, because Konate was comfortably across, and rolls it into the feet of Van Dijk, who takes the touch and finds Jones, who does likewise. Gakpo back to Curtis Jones once again, named in the England squad. Curtis Jones, even though he would want to have played a lot more this season, he's one of a number of Liverpool players who you just wonder where their future does lie, whether they do remain with Liverpool or whether they do try and find some first-team football elsewhere. Gravenberch, centrally positioned, creeping forward very slowly. Jones, and now the touchline hugger Gakpo once again near side to left, can't get away from Sarr, who stretches out a big leg. Liverpool moving it patiently from side to side, but this Crystal Palace side are not to be broken through as yet. Szoboszlai will try again, moving it from left to right once again. Konate to Salah, has to race to get on the end of that. Didn't really look as he played that. Gets another chance, he might shoot here. 35 yards out, early ball in. Diaz sweeps it goalwards. Henderson makes a terrific save, and the flag stays down, so he would have been onside. And there was that moment of magic, Stephen, you alluded to. Salah to Diaz, fine Henderson save.
Yeah, I mean, Salah tries to play a ball inside, it ricochets back into his path, and then you just expected him to dink the ball to the back post. He doesn't, he reverses it. That's 2 or 3 times now that they've played that disguised pass, and Diaz, he turns and hits the ball all in one motion, in fact, and then Dean Henderson does extremely well because he nullifies it and saves it with his leg.
The resulting corner is very close to Konate's head, and it was cleared by Crystal Palace. Bradley inside the centre circle, square it goes to Gravenberch, and Palace are now back in their regimental 5-3-2, often 5-4-1 as Hughes drops back into a central midfield position. Jones will try again. Fans have come to life in the last 5-6 minutes as well, as they sense there could be an equaliser not too far away. BBC 5 Sports Extra at an overcast Anfield. Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 1. Bradley's on his left-hand side for the time being. Konate will find Salah, another early ball. He's tried that several times. Gakpo via a deflection. Salah's first time ball with the outside of his left foot. That hits a yellow wall. Mitchell can run it away for Palace. Not too many options over on that far side, but if you're ever Eza, no situation is too hard. And a little nutmeg, I think, to get himself out of trouble to alleviate the danger. However, Palace lose it further forward, as do Liverpool, and Kamada can sweep it forward. Eza now does have a little more space in which to pick his next move. Early pass to Mateta, and Konate in the way there. You mentioned players that clubs will be very keen to keep hold of. Eza and Palace are very much that combination, but he's another one that will undoubtedly, because of the season he's had, and the end of season in particular he's had, be linked with many moves away. Oh,
absolutely will, and he is a phenomenal player. I think it's just a case of, I think what we've seen with Crystal Palace is that they don't mind moving players on, but they don't want to move 3 or 4 players on. And also as well, the fee's got to be right.
Yeah. Robertson, back post, easy for Henderson, or at least it looked it. Salah picks it up after Jones had fouled Henderson. I think Henderson corner of his eye saw Jones eating up the yards on him, so elected to punch and take the contact, and then wins the free kick. And in the end, that's pretty sensible goalkeeping.
It's a really interesting one, this, because when Henderson comes for the ball, Jones has got every right to challenge for him. If that was a centre-back going up for a header, and he just made the challenge, that's just a coming together. Whereas as soon as you touch a goalkeeper and they go down, it's like, whoa, whistle in the mouth as quick as you can.
Yeah, I remember speaking to a referee a couple of years ago, whether this is still the rule, and they said, basically, as soon as the goalkeeper leaves the ground, any touch and it's a free kick automatically, I presume from a safety perspective, but I don't know, people often think goalkeepers are protected species, and that sounds like very, very protected to me.
They absolutely are.
Meanwhile, free kick given to Palace, dead centre of the Liverpool half for a little shirt pull, so a rare opportunity for Palace to get a ball into the Liverpool penalty area, and Palace this season have been very good from set pieces. They've scored the joint most Premier League goals from set pieces, level with Forest, so Liverpool will just have to be careful here with 5 minutes to play until half time. Liverpool 0, Palace 1. Darren England's drawn a line on the Anfield pitch for no apparent reason, because there isn't a wall in place. I don't think he needed to do that, but it's there anyway. Eza with his free kick looped towards the back post area that was vacant for a moment. Hughes picks up the loose ball on the edge of the penalty area. Mateta with his strength. Sarr was waiting, lurking for any crumbs. Alisson was there. And in the end, it's Alisson who picks up and collects.
I'm loving the finger wag.
Is there another one from the assistant?
There was another one from the assistant referee. He's just got a great finger wag at people.
Lovely skill. Oh, Konate, and then plays it against Gravenberg. Another chance for Palace to counter-attack. Kamada's way offside. Eza rides the Konate challenge, and then Mateta was dispossessed comfortably by Van Dijk, and Liverpool can start again. Well, assistant referees are often the recipient of many a finger wag. I often think it's probably one of the most infuriating things players do when they wag their finger, as if to say, no, come on. Yeah. So maybe some retribution there.
Maybe.
Robertson to Van Dijk. We've got just under 4 minutes of the first half to play on 5 Sports Extra. Palace lead this game 1-0. Sarr's goal. Now Liverpool have had bits and pieces. They've threatened every now and then. Here is Bradley, too far in front of Salah, who has struggled to really get into this game. Mo Salah. He's had an excellent season, clearly, with the numbers he's posted. Premier League Player of the Season for a 4th time. That'll move him level with Thierry Henry. He is going to be the top goal scorer and win the Golden Boot again. But his recent form isn't too promising. Just 1 goal in his last 8. He'll be desperate, won't he, to end on a high?
Oh, he absolutely will. He'll have looked at this today and thought, I want to finish on a high, like you say. And I just think Crystal Palace's system suits them defending against Mohamed Salah, because essentially what you can do is you can just say to Tyreek Mitchell, you just stay on Salah, man mark him, stay with him as tight as you can. Now that sounds very easy, but if you're fresh and you're making sure that you're constantly on his shoulder, touch tight to him, it becomes very difficult for Mohamed Salah then.
Yeah, and he's certainly had Mitchell for company throughout this first half. Van Dijk is just on the left of the centre circle inside the Palace half. Konate, I think, is demonstrating the need for urgency if they want to get back into this game before half time, with a rather hopeful direct ball that was cut out, but Konate has it back once again. That's short for Salah, and Mitchell is away from Salah, but in his haste to get away from the Premier League Player of the Season, he runs it straight out of play. Well, one thing we know Palace do well, and Oliver Glasner mentioned it after the FA Cup final. He actually mentioned it after the league meeting with Manchester City, where he said, if City play like they played against us in the league, then we will beat them, because I know how to set up. And at the moment, Palace has set up really well against Liverpool, and Arne Slot has some thinking to do if he wants to end this season with a victory. That's a foul by Munoz on Gakpo, level with the edge of the Crystal Palace penalty area, but very close to the touchline. So a crossing opportunity, and with 90 seconds of the first half to play, the big men will sidle forward, and this is a good opportunity to get a goal. Now Trent Alexander-Arnold has gone to warm up, and you can hear audibly the applause ringing around the ground. The boos against Arsenal were noticeable. I didn't hear many, if any, there, Stephen.
No, I didn't hear any at all, which is really good.
Robertson with the free kick into the heart of the penalty area, headed away. Gravenberch is on the edge of the box. Robertson thought about receiving the ball, or at least he wanted the ball, but Gravenberch ignored him. Instead, Jones has it, and now it's Salah again, in a position he has frequented often. Back in field it goes. Jones, back post. Robertson is there, too far in front of the Scotsman, and that's out of play for a goal kick. Interestingly, on Trent Alexander-Arnold, writing in the Liverpool programme today, Arne Slot, I think just explaining in a bit more detail his position, because he's often said, I'm not going to judge, I am not going to dictate what the Liverpool fans will want, but let me just outline my position in saying, of course I am disappointed to lose him, any manager would be, but I also have a duty of care to my players, and while he remains a player under my stewardship, I'm going to make sure that I ensure that he is treated fairly, and that his mental state is still good, and that was very much him explaining why he took the position that he did.
I think there's also, as well, as would Liverpool have won the Premier League without him? You have to think, I mean, there's a lot of people saying he shouldn't be here today, he shouldn't be in the squad, he shouldn't be coming on. He absolutely should. He should be involved, because he's been part of Liverpool winning the Premier League. Yes, I know Liverpool fans are upset to see him go. I am as well. I want to see him. I love coming to Anfield and watching a quality player like him and being a local lad. It's amazing, but he's taken a different decision. He's taken a different route, and whether you respect it or not, just I think you've got to be a little bit more understanding of the situation.
Yes, that was very much reiterated by Arne Slot, that he has had a huge impact on this football club, not just this season but seasons gone by. He has won it all. We'll see what reception he gets when you imagine he will get on the field. 1 minute of added on time, which we're into. In fact, we've nearly gone through it, with Liverpool on the attack, far side the left, lovely Salah turn away from Mitchell, Kamada there to help him out. They've doubled up and sometimes trebled up on Salah throughout this first half of Crystal Palace, and that will be that for the first half, that sees Crystal Palace leading by 1-0. Ismail Assar's 12th of the season. Liverpool giving the ball away. Clever ball early forward to Sarr, who had the freedom of the penalty area to take a touch, find the bottom corner, and it has been Crystal Palace this season to a T, Stephen Warnock, because they've defended well. Liverpool have dominated possession, and bar a Salah ball to Diaz and a header from Diaz, it's been flat from Liverpool, and this is not the way the Premier League champions would want to end this season. No,
I think we came here expecting a party atmosphere and expecting to see a game of high quality from Liverpool. It hasn't been there. It's not been the greatest of performances so far from Liverpool, but classic, as you say, Crystal Palace, outstanding in the organisation defensively, and then that classic counter-attack goal where they set themselves up in positions to make sure that if they win it high, they're in good positions to score, and a really smart finish from Ismail Assar. I think Crystal Palace will be the happier team at half-time, and rightly so.
Yeah, they have done what we've seen them do all season, and they would love to end this record-breaking season, winning the FA Cup, playing in Europe next season, but also the Premier League record that they have as well, setting a new club record for most points in a Premier League season. They're on course to end it in the perfect way. And before we let you disappear, Stephen, Liverpool, we know you'd expect there will be some reaction, that they tend to score. They've only lost 3 of the last 79 home Premier League matches. Firepower on the bench. You would anticipate that we will see some form of second half reaction from Liverpool. Yeah,
well, you look at the bench, you've got Diogo Jota, Darwin Nunez, Harvey Elliott, and then it looks though Trent Alexander-Arnold might come on. We're just watching down below. He's going through a vigorous warm-up. He was the only player that went out for a warm-up, and it's just whether Conor Bradley's picked up a little bit of an injury. So you expect more quality to come onto the pitch and perhaps push Crystal Palace in this second half coming up, but yeah, they certainly got quality on the bench.
Stephen, for now, thank you very much. More from Stephen in the second half here on 5 Sports Extra, and we will return for the second half of this final Premier League game of the season at Anfield. The Premier League champions, though, are behind at the break. Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 1. We shall rejoin 5 Live for news of the other Premier League matches, and we'll be back with you on 5 Sports Extra for the second half in around 10-15 minutes time.
Pickford had to punch that clear. Everton's best chance, Mikalenko's ball in from the left, Alcaraz, centre of goal. His effort saw Pope quickly push it over the top of the crossbar. Eddie Howe's been busy making loads of notes on this one. At the break, though, Newcastle 0, Everton 0.
The side who are probably in the worst position at the moment, although not according to the table, but merely by the fact that they're down to 10, are Villa. They're at Old Trafford. Lee Blakeman.
And they've just had Emi Martinez sent off for a block on Rasmus Højlund. It was an awful back pass mark in the first place for Matty Cash, which played Højlund in, went through one-on-one. Martinez came racing out of his area, took out Højlund, and referee Thomas Bramall waved a red card to him straight away. As a result, Robin Olsen has come on to make his final Villa appearance. The player who has been sacrificed is Marco Asensio. Seconds to go at the end of a half that Manchester United have dominated. Manchester United 0, Aston Villa 0.
So, as things stand, Manchester City 71, Newcastle 67, Chelsea 67. They would be the Champions League qualifiers. Aston Villa also have 67 as things stand. Nottingham Forest have 66. Brighton are going to fall to 9th this evening because they trail at Tottenham. Alistair Bruce-Ball.
Spurs 1, Brighton 0 at half-time. Yes, Brighton have lost their grip on 8th for the time being. That is potential European football next season. We'll have to see. They found a Tottenham team actually enjoying themselves in the mood. Dominic Solanke's penalty, the difference here. Cooley chipped in off the bar after Matthias Tell was tripped. Tell nearly made it 2-0 on the counter-attack later in the half. Brilliantly denied by Verbruggen. Adingra, Vifa and Hinshelwood have all gone close for Brighton. They've got to chase it a bit now. Spurs 1, Brighton 0.
And they dropped to 9th because Brentford have gone above them. They lead at Molineux at the break. Pat Murphy.
Deservedly 1-0. They're living up to their nickname. The Bees are swarming all over Wolves. Wolves can't really clear the ball with any efficiency, and it's from a misplaced pass by Aït-Nouri that Norgard passed at Umbumo, and he made no mistake 10 yards out. Lewis Potter's gone close, so has Wieser. One chance for Wolves at the end. Semedo 20 yards out, pound away low to his left by Flecken. Wolves 0, Brentford 1.
Half-time whistle has gone at Old Trafford. Lee.
Manchester United 0, Aston Villa 0, but Villa down to 10. Emi Martinez sent off for a block on Højlund, who got onto the end of a poor pass back from Matty Cash. Right out of his area did Martinez, made the block, straight red card. Robin Olsen in goal now. Asensio, the player sacrificed. United had the best chance of the half before that. Darlow with a shot from the edge of the area, which came back off the post. Mount and Casemiro have gone close as well. Villa yet to get going, no efforts on target, and they're now down to 10 for the second half. United 0, Villa 0.
Champions are behind at the break. John Murray.
Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 1. The informed team of these two are winning through Ismail Assar's well-taken goal in the 8th minute after a Bradley pass had given the ball away. Liverpool have been sluggish. They've created little until Diaz curled one just wide and then also forced a very good save from the Palace goalkeeper and captain today, Dean Henderson. So it is Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 1. I'll just say as well, Mark, Trent Alexander-Arnold was sent out to warm up on his own just before half-time. He was applauded, but then the Steven Gerrard song struck up and the Cop were singing that song about Real Madrid as well. But it looks as though he might come on for the second half because he has been rigorously warming up during the half-time break so far.
So you wonder whether they bring him on at half-time as that's less noticeable.
Possibly, but I mean it could also be an issue with Bradley perhaps, which is why he was sent out just before the break. But yeah, I follow your thinking.
Wow. I don't think you've ever said that before, have you?
Well, it's first time for everything.
There is, isn't it?
It's carnival atmosphere.
Let's go to St Mary's. Lovely story for Kieran Tierney. Henry Moran.
Yes, Southampton 0, Arsenal 1. Open game dominated by the visitors, who deservedly lead the goal just before the break. Well worked down the right. Ben White's cross tucked home by Tierney. His final Arsenal game before a move back to Celtic and a first goal of the season. New Southampton boss Will Still watching on from the stands. I've seen moments from his future side. Excuse me, but Arsenal well on top and leading. Southampton 0, Arsenal 1. I've waited till at the end of the season before swallowing a fly live on there.
Right, I shall let you go get a drink from somewhere. Thank you very much, Henry. Let's go to Portman Road. Sam Ashew, where West Ham lead at the break.
They certainly do, Mark. Defensive mistakes have been the story of Ipswich's season, and it's the story of the day here as well. West Ham leading courtesy of James Ward-Prowse, who just couldn't miss after Jared Bowen won the ball high up the pitch. He could have shot but didn't. They're playing two up top today, West Ham. The fans have been calling for it for a while, and they look good. They look more attacking, quite simply, because they've got more attacking players on the pitch. As for Ipswich, they've been OK going forward. Amari Hutchinson has caused some issues on the right-hand side, whilst Nathan Broadhead's curling shot was saved brilliantly by Lucas Fabianski on his final game for the club. But at the moment, West Ham lead by 1-0 at Pullman Road.
Also at the break in the final Premier League game, Bournemouth 0, Leicester 0. In the League One playoff final earlier, Charlton beat Leyton Orient by 1-0. They'll play Championship football next season. Rangers have won the Women's Scottish Cup. They beat Glasgow City 3-0. Glasgow City reduced to 10 in that game as well. In the one Super League game today, Wakefield have demolished Salford 72-10. And at the Grand Prix earlier in Monaco, Lando Norris won that in his McLaren. 5-5, Richard Foster has the news.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner says she can't guarantee that changes to the winter fuel allowance for pensioners will be in place before this winter. Sir Keir Starmer says he wants more people to be eligible for the payments. The bodies of 5 skiers have been found in mountains in Switzerland. A helicopter was sent up to search near the resort of Zermatt after climbers spotted skis abandoned in the snow. Health officials in Gaza say at least 20 Palestinians have been killed in the latest Israeli military strikes. A British doctor says the only surviving son of a Palestinian doctor whose 9 other children were killed in an Israeli strike on Friday is due to be operated on soon. President Zelensky says the silence of America and the rest of the world is encouraging Vladimir Putin to keep attacking Ukraine. He's been speaking after the biggest assault on his country since the start of the war, with more than 360 Russian missiles and drones launched last night. And the broadcaster and former BBC executive Alan Yentob has died at the age of 78. He commissioned Have I Got News for You and the sitcom Absolutely Fabulous, and also started the CBBC and CBeebies channels.
On the Football Daily Podcast.
And a slot, Liverpool champions 20 times.
Arne, good to see you. Is it hard to believe sometimes what you've achieved in your first season here?
The moment the referee blew his whistle, you were like, wow, this has really happened. You can reach a final with good luck, and you can never win a league with only having a lot of luck.
The Football Daily Podcast.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is 5 Live Sport
with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Back to the City Ground shortly. Nottingham Forest 0, Chelsea 0 on the final Premier League day of the season. As things stand, Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest are the two sides who will miss out on Champions League football. Manchester City, Newcastle and Chelsea are the ones who are in 3rd, 4th and 5th respectively at the moment. Opening day of the French Open. Russell Fuller is watching.
Fairly routine on the court, Mark, with wins today for the world number 1 Arina Sabalenka, the Olympic champion Jung Chin-wen, also Alina Svitolina and the in-form Italian Lorenzo Musetti, who's the only member of the men's top 10 who's been in action today. But now, really, we're waiting for the main event, and most of the 15,000 spectators in the Philippe Chatrier court have donned clay-coloured shirts. We're anticipating a tribute to the retired 14-time champion Rafael Nadal. Novak Djokovic will be here, and according to the Serb, Roger Federer and Andy Murray are also expected to walk out on court in the next few minutes to pay tribute to the great champion.
Thank you very much, Russell. Earlier in the F1, Lando Norris won the Monaco Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc and Oscar Piastri completed the podium positions. Norris cuts the gap to Piastri in the championship to just 13 points, and afterwards he spoke to Jenson Button.
It feels amazing. It's a long race. It's a long, grueling race. But good fun, you know. We could push for quite a lot of the race. The last quarter was a little bit nervous with Charles close behind and Max ahead, but we won in Monaco, so it doesn't matter how you win, I guess. But an amazing weekend with Pole, with today. This is what I dream of. This is what I did dream of when I was a kid, so I achieved one of my dreams. But I think it was you. I saw you in front of my car before the start, and I was like, if JV's here now, then
I'll always take
my
credit.
good luck charm.
But you know, most people say that you win Monaco on the Saturday in qualifying. Such an exceptional job, but you still got to get it done on the Sunday.
Yeah.
Lovely start, and then the pressure you put under, and all of those cars you had to overtake during the race. It must have been quite tense.
It is. I mean, the worst bit really was just the end. You know, I felt quite under control the whole race. but Max was ahead and Max was kind of backing it up a little bit. And I knew then that's when Charles had the opportunity, so I had to manage it quite a lot. I tried to back off of Max so I could push when I needed to and chill when I needed to, so I still had to manage. It was still a well-fought race, but I'm very happy, my team are very happy, and therefore we're going to have a wonderful night.
More reaction on the Checkered Flag podcast. Charlton beat Leyton Orient 1-0 in the League One playoff final to return to the Championship after 5 years away. Here's their boss, Nathan Jones, with Aaron Paul.
I'm so proud of that achievement, so proud of how we've been able to do it. I'm so proud of the fans, the group, the club, my owners, the players and all the staff. You know, wonderful day.
I said it during the game, Orient huffed and puffed, but they were never going to break that house down.
Well, probably you had more confidence than me, but no, look, once we scored, we've never lost when we scored first, so that was a big thing. We wanted to score first, and then to have seen the game out in the manner that we did, I'm really proud.
I just want to ask, in terms of this job and you and sort of the club and you needing each other, wanting to come back and be a success again, how important was it for you?
Yeah, it was the gamble for me, to drop from my last job was in the Premier League, my next job was in League One. People questioned that, but as I said, I didn't come here to be a League One or Championship. I came here to manage Charlton, and I felt that it was the right time. I felt they needed someone with my drive and passion, and I needed this kind of project. So praise the Lord.
The Championship is your playground. You happy to be back?
Oh, happy to be back. Yeah, to be fair, a lot of people say, well, this. I haven't spent that much time at League One. I've probably spent more time in League Two and League One. But also, the Championship is where I've spent most of my time. I had a brief spell in the Premier League, so I've gone all over. But the Championship is where I've probably done most of my best work, and I'm very happy to be back.
Nathan Jones and Charlton back in the Championship. I think the phrase they use on social media is football is healing.
Well, I love that, and I'm just proud. I'm just proud of the Hull Football Club today, and I'm proud of my club because, as I said, I consider this my club.
Sure, Charlton fans, you'll want to talk to Chris and Robbie later. 08085 909 693. So then, in the Premier League at half-time, just to reiterate, Bournemouth 0, Leicester 0, Fulham 0, Manchester City 1, Ipswich 0, West Ham 1, Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 1, Manchester United 0, Aston Villa 0. Emi Martinez sent off on the stroke of half-time there for Villa. Newcastle 0, Everton 0, Forest 0, Chelsea 0, Southampton 0, Arsenal 1, Tottenham 1, Brighton 0, Wolves 0, Brentford 1, and Trent Alexander-Arnold is coming on at the break at Anfield. John Murray.
Yes, he is, and it looks as though it may well be a problem for Conor Bradley, because I do not see him out there. So he's just coming to the halfway line now. He's been out there warming up.
And almost perfect timing. We can take over on 5 Sports Extra in the midst of John Murray over on 5 Live describing Trent Alexander-Arnold's introduction at half-time. Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 1. Full second half commentary to come on 5 Sports Extra. And we saw Alexander-Arnold go through some vigorous warm-ups at half-time. And we did wonder whether we might see the departing Liverpool right back, and indeed we are. Here come Crystal Palace, who lead this game thanks to Ismaila Sarr's goal. But Trent Alexander-Arnold, Stephen Warnock, Conor Bradley, I can't see out there. And we know Arne Slot is not averse to half-time changes. We saw it in game 1, didn't we, when Jarrell Quansah was taken off at half-time. Here comes Alexander-Arnold, and listen to the reception.
Yeah, it's a really positive one, isn't it, for Trent Alexander-Arnold? I was just took my earphones off just to listen to it properly. I know we can hear a little bit through it, but you want to see or hear the majority of the response. I think it might be not a tactical switch, but a switch from an injury. I just feel like he picked something up and he got sent out, Trent Alexander-Arnold, but expect some quality from him.
So Trent Alexander-Arnold is on for his 354th and final Liverpool appearance. Back underway in this second half. Liverpool 0, Palace 1. Liverpool red from head to toe, now kicking from left to right, so attacking the Kop. All in yellow are Crystal Palace, defending the goal away to our right-hand side as we watch from the main stand. And the ball out of play for a throw on this near side, the left. Liverpool 0, Palace 1. Here is Mateta on the edge of the centre circle. Now Alexander-Arnold gets his first touch and is felled by Kamada, and that's out of play. That's a free kick rather for Liverpool, 30 yards out or so. You back with us?
Yeah, just had a little bit of an issue with my headphones then.
Okay.
They weren't quite working, so yeah, held the fort well.
Well, I could have done it without you. Free kick then for Liverpool. That is a good 35-40 yards out from goal, just to the right of centre. And Alexander-Arnold is over it. What he would do for a goal involvement on his final Anfield appearance. He's over this with one hand in the air, delivers to the back post where there is no one in a red shirt, and Jefferson Lerma can see that out of play, and that'll be a goal kick to Crystal Palace, who lead this game by 1-0. A reminder of the two sides then. Alisson in goal for Liverpool, Bradley, Konate, Van Dijk, Robertson, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, Salah, Jones, Gakpo and Diaz. And for Crystal Palace, Henderson, Lerma, Lacroix, Richards, the back three, Munoz, Hughes, Kamada and Mitchell, and then Sarr, Eza and Mateta. Henderson goes all the way through, goalkeeper to goalkeeper, and Alisson can start things going for Liverpool, and Konate can slowly move out of defence. The birthday boy reaches halfway, not too much movement in front of him, and there is Alexander-Arnold with an early ball looking for Salah. That's just over his head, and that'll drop out of play for a goal kick to Liverpool with 2 and a bit minutes played of the second half. Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 1. We'll keep you up to date with all of the other Premier League scores, with Villa down to 10 men against Manchester United, as we were hearing over on 5 Live. So that's Villa out of the Champions League places, along with Nottingham Forest as it stands. They're still level with Chelsea in a game that's over on 5 Live. Southampton 0, Arsenal 1, Spurs 1, Brighton 0, Wolves 0, Brentford 1, Fulham 0, Manchester City 1. And Palace leading this game by 1-0 at Anfield. Gravenberch and Alisson have to sort themselves out quickly, and they manage it. And here is, on the edge of the penalty area, Szoboszlai picking up a loose pass. Jones with Robertson on the overlap just outside the penalty area. Jones again slides it down the line to where Gakpo waits. He did this a lot in the first half, Gakpo, running in from his left wing home. Konate can keep the move going from left to right, and Alexander-Arnold. Now Salah on the edge of the penalty area, near side the left, running at Mitchell, away from Mitchell. Didn't do that too often in the first half. Szoboszlai chips to the front post. Richards heads partially away. Gravenberch, it's all very scrappy and loose on the edge of the Crystal Palace penalty area. Gravenberch gets there, and all the way back it goes to Alexander-Arnold inside his own half, and he's having already, Alexander-Arnold, an impact.
He certainly is. He's just quality on the ball. We know he's got that quality when he's on it. And that's a lovely ball again. Now out to switch of play out to Gravenberch.
Picked up on the edge of the penalty area. Here is Gakpo onto his right foot, delays, Szoboszlai, and this is Salah! Blocked by Lacroix, handball, Salah claims. Referee Darren England pointed for the corner flag, but VAR will be having a look in the background.
Yeah, they certainly will. I was wondering why they weren't shooting the Liverpool players at first as Gakpo came inside. It was a great opportunity for him. Then there was an opportunity for Szoboszlai, and he lay it on a plate for Mohamed Salah. He tries to bend it into the far corner. It hits Lacroix's arm, but it is at his side. There's not much he can do with his arm but leave it exactly where it is. So I don't think it's a foul, a penalty.
No, and I think VAR have looked and cleared it relatively speedily. It's a corner that Alexander-Arnold will take on that far side, the left. And again, he got a good reception when he trotted over to take this corner, which is on that far side, the left. There's a crowded Liverpool penalty area. Plenty of yellow shirts back defending. In fact, every single yellow shirt inside the box. Into the front post it goes, towards Gakpo. Richards will clear. And then all the way downfield for Gravenberch to step in front of his goalkeeper. Hughes putting him under pressure. Allison riskily back to Gravenberch, who does clear downfield. Lerma under control to Kamada, nicely round the corner with the outside of his right foot. Eza, and now Mitchell can charge forward with his head down, legs running. Szoboszlai beaten. His early ball in cleared though by Konate. That's another poor pass. Szoboszlai, there's been so many of those in the first half. Mitchell on this near side, the left. Here is Eza. Walking pace for now, looking for support. Hughes and Kamada again, just on the edge of the penalty area. Patient probing from Palace. Owen Hughes with a ball that Eza didn't really read, and very quickly out to collect was Allison. Liverpool 0, Palace 1, Stephen.
Yeah, you could just hear the Liverpool fans, and there's another moment there where Gravenberch loses it. Frustration.
Mateta going for goal from distance, 25 yards out, straight at Allison. We saw a lot of this from Liverpool in the first half. No real conviction with their passing, and we've seen it already in the opening 6-7 minutes of the second.
Yeah, it just feels like they're doing things that they wouldn't usually do. It's just a little bit out of control for Liverpool, but credit to Crystal Palace, they're setting them traps for them. Just overplaying at times, Liverpool.
Jones over halfway for Liverpool. The pass out to that far side, the left, where Gakpo trots in field. This is all very comfortable for Palace, who watched Liverpool build in front of them at length in that first half. Van Dijk from Konate, Robertson, and now Curtis Jones. He'll want to have an impact on this second half. Diaz with the wristband on his right arm will think about getting the ball back from Van Dijk. He's ignored. It's Konate instead. This isn't really hurting Palace, who were quite happy to do this all second half. Gravenberch now, who is the deepest Liverpool player, and he's just inside the Palace half, and now Konate will go all the way back to Allison. There are numbers on the bench, Stephen, should Arne Slot, and you suspect he will at some point, look at the likes of Jota, look at the likes of Nunez, Harvey Elliott there as well.
Yeah, he's got to give Crystal Palace a different problem, because at the moment you've got both Gakpo and Diaz roaming around the Liverpool field, and they're not really causing the back line any problems. It's very comfortable stepping onto the midfield players, and you just think with perhaps Diogo Jota coming on, that might just change the dynamic as Liverpool's attack and actually free up the midfielders a little bit more.
And the crowd also, you feel, will be important in this second half, and they strike up for the first time in this second period. 8 minutes into it. 5 Sports Extra. Liverpool, the Premier League champions, 0. Crystal Palace, the FA Cup winners, 1. Foul on Gravenberch by Mitchell on the edge of the penalty area, and that'll be a free kick on an angle, but a decent opportunity again for Trent Alexander-Arnold to whip a dangerous ball into the penalty area.
Yeah, it's just an interesting one, this, where he's probably a couple of yards just ahead of the 18-yard box, so roughly about 20 yards out, and you're thinking, can you deliver it in behind the Crystal Palace back line, but also take out the goalkeeper Henderson? Well, if one man can, this guy certainly can. It's just where Liverpool players set themselves up now, because Crystal Palace are a tall team, very good in the air.
23 goals and 86 assists in Trent Alexander-Arnold's Liverpool career. Another assist maybe here. Great ball in, it couldn't have been better. On a plate for anyone in red, but no one made that run. He couldn't have placed that any better.
No, well, that was exactly what I was thinking as he stepped up to it. Can you put it in that area? I wasn't doubting him, I was expecting it to happen, and there was a thumbs up from Virgil van Dijk, because he knew, had he have gambled, had he have anticipated where the ball had gone, he would have picked up a goal for himself. An easy header. Well, that is just a quality that Liverpool are going to miss. That's not going to see it anymore in a Liverpool shirt after today.
Well, Jerome Frimpong is a very exciting prospect from Bayer Leverkusen, if and when that move materialises. Florian Wirtz heavily linked with Liverpool as well. They will be a real force to be reckoned with on a Slot side, despite losing Alexander-Arnold.
I think it's an interesting one with Frimpong, though, is what's his position? Because he does play as a wing back for Bayer Leverkusen, but he plays very high at times. Sometimes he plays the high, wide right one. Does Arne Slot see him playing in a different role? Maybe. I'm not so sure. It's interesting. I spoke to one of my friends the other day, and he was saying, you replaced someone in Trent Alexander-Arnold who's not that great at defending, with someone who's probably even worse, should I say.
Yeah, it's one attack-minded fullback for another. Plenty of debate over the summer, I'm sure. Not missing a great deal on the field here, with Crystal Palace keeping relatively safe possession until Kamada runs it out of play. And that will be a throw to Liverpool, just inside the Crystal Palace half. A couple of important goals have gone in elsewhere. Chelsea lead at Forest. Forest 0, Chelsea 1. That's over on 5 Live. Levi Colville has scored there. So at the moment, Chelsea are making the Champions League, with Villa and Forest missing out. Newcastle would drop down to 5th, which is still a Champions League place, but they're under a little bit of jeopardy now. Still 0-0 at home to Everton. Spurs 1, Brighton 1, also a latest score. Ball with Gakpo, edge of the penalty area for Liverpool, onto his right foot, lost count of the number of times that has been said this afternoon. Robertson on the angle of the penalty area, back to Van Dijk. They won't just toss it in aimlessly, will Liverpool. Alexander-Arnold looking for Salah. It was tossed in, but with a measure of control rather than aimlessly, and Tyreek Mitchell had to deal with that, and it's out of play for a Liverpool corner.
Well, without it sounding like the Trent Alexander-Arnold show, it absolutely is in this second half. He hit a delicious ball, switch of play to Gakpo, and then he's just floated another amazing ball into Mohamed Salah. He changes the way that Liverpool can attack.
Szoboszlai with his corner, near side the right, the Kop stand. Szoboszlai delivers across the penalty area, it flashes. Alexander-Arnold on the volley, left-footed, always off balance, and in the end 7 or 8 yards wide. Still Palace lead 1-0.
Difficult skill for him as it's coming up onto his left foot, and just noticing down below, Liverpool are going to make a change. Darwin Nunez is stripped and ready, and I just wonder whether he'll take Cody Gakpo off and put Luis Diaz on that left hand side, just to change that predictability of coming inside so often. But surprised it's not Jota and it is Nunez.
Well, you said at half time he fancied Diogo Jota to come on and get a goal, but he is still sitting on the bench for now, Diogo Jota. Arne Slot, one thing he has shown us in his first season in charge is that he's not scared to make early changes. Saw that at half-time of this game. Jarrell Quansah taken off the first half of the very first game of Arne Slot's season away at Ipswich, which feels an awfully long time ago now. Liverpool building dangerously. Diaz, left-footed ball that was behind everyone, and that will be kept in play by Mo Salah, whose first time ball to Alexander-Arnold. The give and go, Salah chipped into the hands of Henderson. It's that relationship that we've seen so often, Alexander-Arnold and Salah, and we've seen early signs of it in this second half, but Salah's final ball needed to be better. Yeah,
they just link up so well, don't they? Salah there on his right foot, just can't get the power into it. It's not his greatest asset, his right foot, Mohamed Salah. So often a lot of his goals come from that dependable left foot. And Jota is coming on as well. Here we go. Interesting.
Oh, he's going for it. Nunez and Jota are both being readied. Szoboszlai meanwhile to Alexander-Arnold, who's got plenty of space in which to frolic into. Not too sure who he saw there. Salah had gone one way, Alexander-Arnold played the ball the other. Mitchell into the feet of Kamada, who'll want it back from Mitchell, and gets it back. Daichi Kamada, who hasn't always been a fan's favourite for Crystal Palace, but he's had a very good end to the season. He's a player that Oliver Glasner trusts, having utilised him very well at Eintracht Frankfurt, a player that he said when he signed it, he knows my system, he knows where to be, what to do, and he's certainly demonstrated that, Daichi Kamada.
I think he can use him in various positions, Carney. That's why he's so liked by Oliver Glasner, because when I first saw him at the start of the season, he played in the position that Ismail Assar is playing. Now we've seen him in recent weeks playing that midfield position of the two, so yeah, valuable asset in the squad.
Liverpool rhythmically, metronomically playing it across the penalty area. It's all very nice to watch, but not threatening until Alexander-Arnold lifts it towards Gravenberch. He's away from one, into the penalty area, down under Richards' challenge. No real appeals from a penalty. Oh, he's booked Gravenberch for diving. Well, No one really appealed for a penalty, but I think the general consensus early on was it was just a coming together, but referee Darren England thought otherwise, and Gravenberch gets booked for simulation.
Yeah, it's a very interesting one that the referee has decided to give that decision so early on. It is a dive, it is a little bit, I think he's just anticipating the contact coming in, but he does try to buy a penalty there, Gravenberch. It's a big jump. The yellow card is the right decision. It's really bad.
Yeah, the exaggerated jump does not help him. Here come the Liverpool changes. Two of them. Szoboszlai is off and Darwin Núñez is on. And Konate is coming off to be replaced by Jota. So, Stephen Warner, what's happening here?
Gravenberch will move into the back four. I would suspect almost play as a back three, and Trent Alexander-Arnold will almost push into that midfield area. I'm just trying to see what they're doing in the forward areas, but my word, he's going for it. So he's gone for a box, hasn't he? Box system. Or has he? Just trying to work it out. No, he's almost gone 5 across the top. And Curtis Jones in midfield with Gravenberch. And 3 at the back.
Well, why not? It's the final day of term. Mix it up a little bit.
Absolutely.
Palace making changes too. Eddie Nketiah is on for Jean-Philippe Mateta. And Nketiah, who got a couple of goals in his last appearance against Wolves on Tuesday. Not the easiest season for him. And Ebere Eze's game is over as well. And young Justin Devenny, the Northern Ireland international, is on in Eze's place. Didn't look too chuffed at coming off there, Eze. Mind you, no one really is, are they? Not this early on in the piece. 62 minutes played. So Nketiah and Devenny on for Palace, Jota and Núñez on for Liverpool in what could be a very interesting final half an hour as Liverpool look to get back into this game, trailing as they are by 1-0. 5 Sports Extra. Southampton have an equaliser against Arsenal. Southampton 1, Arsenal 1. Ross Stewart has scored down at St Mary's, with Will Still looking like he'll be the new manager down there, and West Ham lead at already relegated Ipswich by 2-1 now. Jared Bowen has scored at Portman Road, and still Bournemouth 0, Leicester 0. 1-0 Palace lead here. We wait to see what effect those changes will have on the game. Jones to Van Dijk just outside the centre circle. Patches of blue sky above Anfield. We've not seen the sun for a while. There is a ugly looking grey cloud that's positioning itself above Anfield, and there's a rainbow in the distance which suggests that rain is not too far away. Big diagonal is well hit. Salah's touch is imperious. He can't get away from Mitchell though. The clearance was a little bit loose, and Jones has it on the edge of the penalty area. Right foot shot. Oh, it bounced beautifully to Salah. And for a change, his touch lets him down. He pulls up his shirt into his teeth. So difficult to control, but a man of Salah's quality, the 2-time Premier League player of the season, you'd have backed him to control that.
Yeah, I think it just skips off too quick, doesn't it? And then also it falls to his right foot. It's not his strongest foot, as we mentioned before. But that was a great opportunity for Salah. If he'd have took that into his path, it would have almost certainly been a goal. I'm just touching on the system now. Jota's actually playing alongside Curtis Jones, but Trent Alexander-Arnold is pushing into that midfield position alongside him.
Lovely ball through for Sarr to chase onto here, just outside the Liverpool penalty area. And Nketiah one side, Munoz the other. It's Daniel Munoz whose ball was threatening, but Nketiah was a couple of yards away from it. Alisson collects.
Yeah, simple collection from Alisson, but really good moving from Nketiah. I thought Gravenberch did really well though to get back. Oh, what a ball.
It's a fine ball. Núñez escapes his man and Henderson smothers. Excellent pass, and Núñez on the last man. Couldn't have done much more there, but Henderson read it so well, came out quickly and smothered, and gets Palace moving forward. It's Sarr on the right hand side running at Jones. Oh, and that pass is woefully under hit. Easy for Jones. Had he got that right, Munoz was scampering through, but Van Dijk's pass out of defence isn't hit with any great accuracy, and Palace have this throw right wing position.
Yeah, just seeing a replay on the screen in front of us. Trent Alexander-Arnold's in his own half, about 10 yards in his own half, and he bends the ball round the back line of Crystal Palace players, and it ends up in the opposition's box, and then Darwin Núñez, outstretched hand, and you just see a reaction from Jurgen Klopp and wording, what a ball, wow.
Yeah, that's a very Jurgen Klopp thing to say. I think we can all imagine him saying that.
I was going to do the accent, but I changed my mind.
It's a good decision.
Yeah, thanks.
Throw comes in, headed away. Hughes on the edge of the penalty area. There's 3 or 4 Liverpool players very quickly on hand, but it doesn't break their way. Swept into the penalty area at the back post, and totally on his own is Sarr, and Alisson makes a smart save at the front post. Not a great clearance. Devaney's left foot shot. Alisson there again. Well, that was a chance for Palace to double their lead. Sarr again, freedom of the penalty area. The marking was slack. His right foot shot was well saved by Alisson at the front post, who had to be sharp to deny Devaney on the second time of asking. Diaz denied by Devaney as he makes progress on the Liverpool right. And Sarr can start again for Liverpool, but Jones in the way. Now Alexander-Arnold. This is the game we thought it would be. Frenetic. A little bit of looseness to it, which is never a bad thing from a neutral's perspective. Salah, back to Jones, crossing opportunity. Overhit, but Munoz can't get on the end of it. Picked up on that far side by Gakpo. Right foot shot blocked. Liverpool corner, and a lively couple of minutes with 66 minutes played.
Yeah, I mean, it had to get lively, didn't it, by having 5 players on in 4 positions from a Liverpool point of view. It will back Crystal Palace up, but you've got to have that quality as well. And Liverpool now are just starting to knock on the door.
In front of the Kop. Most standing, urging the ball in. Corner, far side the right. Alexander-Arnold driven low. Salah's left foot shot first time. Didn't really connect with it cleanly. I think it was going wide anyway. Hughes prevented the goal kick. And Jones to Alexander-Arnold, who's still on that far side. His ball in, cleared by Lerma, who's just on the edge of his own penalty area. Loose touch, Gravenberg, who takes out Kamada, and there's a decision. It's a yellow card, which will be red for Gravenberg, who's already seen yellow. The red card is out. Ryan Gravenberg is sent off. Now, whether the referee denied that as a goal-scoring opportunity and he's been shown a straight red, I think he was straight red.
It was straight, yeah.
And had it not been given, it was certainly a yellow. But Gravenberg's game is over, and the Premier League's young player of the season, for taking out Kamada when clean through, has to leave the field. Liverpool a goal down, and now a man down.
Yeah, just when a ball was in the air, I was thinking, you've got to deal with this situation quicker. You have to make sure that you either put it out of play or your touch is immaculate. His touch wasn't immaculate, but credit to Kamada. He was on it like a flash, and he just nicked the ball away from Gravenberg. And it is a straight red. It's the right decision. But that will just put a little bit of a downer on his day. And obviously he will now miss the start of next season.
Yeah, he'll miss the Community Shield when these two sides play again in August. So Arne Slot has a little bit of thinking to do now. He's lost one of the few defensive-minded players on the field for Liverpool. Luis Diaz is coming off and Wataru Endo is coming on. So that gap will be plugged by the Japanese captain. It's not the way Diaz would have wanted to end the season either.
No, he won't. I mean, Endo will slot into that centre-back position. We've seen him do that time and time again, as and when he's been needed. He's become a bit of a fan's favourite here, Endo, over the couple of seasons that he's been here. Probably another player that hasn't seen so much football and might be moved on in the summer.
Yeah, only one Premier League start this season, predominantly used from the bench and normally around this time to see games out. Hughes, far side, headed back across goal. Richards is there. Robertson will clear and will sensibly find Jota, and that'll be a goal kick after the initial, or the attempted ball forward drops out of play. So Liverpool 1 down, we've got 20 minutes to play. Palace leading by a 1-0, and Ryan Gravenberg is off the field, shown a straight red card for denying a goal-scoring opportunity. We've seen a host of those this season, actually. We saw it on Tuesday night. Kovacic was sent off for Manchester City for something very similar, fouling his man just inside his own half. We saw Saliba sent off for Arsenal for something similar earlier on in the season. Here's Jota for Liverpool. His attempted ball through to Nunez was seen out by several Palace players. Kamada, nice touch away from Alexander-Arnold. Endo in with a very smart challenge. Jones can rally forward. Now Salah on the edge of the Palace penalty area. Ball in with the outside of his left foot. Was a tap in for Nunez until Richards puts it behind. Liverpool corner.
Oh, I've seen that so often where Mohamed Salah drives down the outside, and rather than using his right foot, he just guides it with the outside of his left foot. Lovely ball, and as you say, Chris Richards just does enough to prevent it going to Darwin Nunez.
Van Dijk to Endo, right hand side for Liverpool. The yellow booted Endo will think about crossing. Instead, backwards of square to Van Dijk, who's right in the middle of the Crystal Palace half. You don't expect their game plan to change a great deal. Palace, they have the lead, they have the one-man advantage. Alexander-Arnold across the centre circle. Van Dijk with the outside of his right arm, wanting a little bit more movement, someone to come a bit closer to him. And Alexander-Arnold again at walking pace, right-hand side of the centre circle. Endo finds a clever gap, 35 yards out. Salah on the edge of the box. His ball will be cut out by Mitchell, who can't prevent the throw, Lerma rather. Instead, it'll be a corner for Liverpool and another opportunity to get a ball into the penalty area.
Yeah, very interesting that Crystal Palace are still sitting in that shape. You'd think that now that they might be able to dominate a little bit of the ball as Trent Alexander-Arnold comes across to take the corner. Huge applause again.
It's noticeable again, yeah, when he went onto that far side he got the same, so the boos have been banished, it seems, this afternoon. Here is Alexander-Arnold's corner, deeper to the back post. Rising well was Lerma. Endo tried a first-time ball with the outside, with the instep into the penalty area. Didn't quite get that right. Alexander-Arnold away from Devaney. That's a good ball in. Headed goalwards by Robertson. Did he get the last touch? No, it came off a yellow shirt last. And it's another corner for Liverpool.
Yeah, wicked ball in, this time on his left foot from Trent Alexander-Arnold. It was well defended by Crystal Palace. I wasn't sure whether it was Robertson or Diogo Jota who tried to get that header, but again, they're knocking on the door, Chris.
They are. Kopp still standing. Alexander-Arnold again with his left arm aloft. Front post delivery headed across the goal, probably by a yellow shirt. Hughes against Endo, clever. And Palace have this throw in their right-back position and will just take their time and take the steam, they'll hope, the sting, out of what had been a decent Liverpool 5 minutes. They might be down to 10 men, but they'll still be flooding forward looking for an equaliser. Talking of important goals, Everton lead away at Newcastle. Newcastle 0, Everton 1. Now that drops Newcastle out of the Champions League places and puts Villa into them. Villa still drawing, but with Newcastle leading, they are out of the Champions League places. So Villa and Forest are missing out as it stands. Jota away from Lacroix, which took him into Richards inside the box, hits the corner flag and drops out of play for another corner. These are promising moments for Liverpool.
Yeah, they are, and they're just getting a little bit of life into the legs now, the Liverpool players, as they try and find the equalising goal just to set this stadium alight.
It's ready to go, isn't it? Anfield, it is ready to erupt. Is this their moment with 17 minutes to play? Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 1. Alexander-Arnold, succession of corners, will one pay off? A flick on from Jota across goal. Van Dijk wasn't too far away. It was successfully cleared, and now Jones is loose. Sarr capitalises, rampaging over halfway. Angle not great, but there are 3 yellow shirts forward. Sarr's pass is way overhit, and had he got that right, take your pick, Hughes and Ketia, of course Daniel Munoz. Reprieve for Liverpool.
I just don't know why he plays it so early. He's got all the time in the world to pick the pass, the 3v1 at that moment, and it's just, Liverpool, especially Endo's thinking, thank goodness you did.
Salah getting no change out of the Crystal Palace defence today. Mitchell sticking with him once again. Van Dijk, Robertson, early, fine ball, Gakpo onside, lovely first touch, Jota, post! That was the moment for Liverpool, and Diogo Jota hits the post from 8 yards. Gakpo found him, but Jota could not find the finish. Robertson's ball in. It's Nunez who challenges, painfully winces. I think he had his toe trod on there. Hughes away for Palace. He clips Van Dijk, and that'll be a free kick to Liverpool. And that was the chance.
Oh, it was the chance. It was brilliant from Andrew Robertson. A little dink in behind Gakpo, he held his position on the touchline, then just darted in behind Munoz, who'd lost him as Gakpo gets free.
Into the penalty area he goes. He's got 3 to aim for, and he only finds Henderson. And out of all the options, that probably wasn't the right one. And Henderson in the way.
Yeah, you can see what he's trying to do. Cody Gakpo drives to the line, tries to pull it back, just gets it too much on it, leans back ever so slightly into the hands of Dean Henderson. But I mean, where was this performance in the first half?
Yes, suddenly Liverpool have come to life to coincide with the re-emergence of the sunshine at Anfield. The clouds still look threatening. The sun is out. Most of the pitch now, though, in shade. What are we? 25 to 6 here in the UK. 4 o'clock kickoffs across the board on the final day of the Premier League season. Salah fell by Mitchell, 35 yards out and a couple of yards out of the touchline. And he's had plenty of these, Alexander-Arnold. I've lost track of the number now of corners and free kicks that he's had to take. And most of them have been hit with venom. And you just feel that one of them will pay off for Liverpool. But Palace are defending well. And they have 14 minutes to hold out, and it'll be a very good way to end what has been an excellent season. What does Alexander-Arnold do this time? It's another great ball in. Salah attacks it. It's there to be tapped in. Nunez somehow didn't put it in. Richards gets it away, and Liverpool have a throw on the far side, the left.
Oh, how doesn't Salah get a touch on it at the near post? It just needs a glance. The ball is absolutely phenomenal again from Trent Alexander-Arnold, and it just needs a glancing header. Takes his eyes off it ever so slightly. Doesn't want to head it, Mohamed Salah. Big opportunity.
Liverpool still building, far side the left, early throw, Gakpo, his touch into Lacroix, who defended well. Jota can't get away from Hughes, who got a little bit fortuitous. The ball ricochets kindly into Munoz's path, and he needs no second invitation to scamper forward, but Nunez, with some play that is always appreciated by fans, head coaches alike, tracked his man all the way and retrieves the ball for Liverpool so they can set off once again. 12 minutes to play. Here is Robertson coming in field. His left-footed pass to Endo, centre circle, and Alexander-Arnold. It's almost as if he's decided, I'm going to show you my full repertoire before I go. I'm going to demonstrate to you, not that Liverpool fans need to know what they're missing, as he pings a glorious pass into the feet of Jota, and his pass to Nunez is well seen out. We're seeing his entire box of tricks, Alexander-Arnold. Liverpool fans know what they'll be missing, and Real Madrid are gaining a fine exponent of a pass, and that was another glorious execution of one.
Ridiculous, wasn't it? I mean, just splits the pass with like a daisy cutter of a drill ball into midfield, and it just takes out 2 or 3 Crystal Palace players who are trying their best to press. Brilliant.
Romain Essa is coming on, the January recruit from Millwall, and Will Hughes' game is over. Will Hughes, who was one of those players that was consistently linked with a move to Anfield. During his Derby days, it felt like every transfer window, Hughes to Derby seemed to be that. Hughes from Derby to Liverpool seemed to be the one. He's never quite hit those heights, but he's had a very good career at Watford and at Crystal Palace, where he is another fan's favourite.
Yeah, don't forget about those ACL injuries that he had along the way, though, at such a young age. He was a teammate of mine at Derby. I loved playing with him. Such a great character, but just one that was hampered by injuries. But like you say, come back, incredible career off the back of, I'm sure it's 2 ACLs.
Yeah, he's enjoyed one of his best seasons for a while, because by and large he has remained injury free. Just 1 goal in 123 Crystal Palace appearances, though. It struck me as a player in his younger days at Derby that always had a good goal in him, actually. So not quite hit the goal-scoring heights, but a very good player. However, off the field now, Romain Essa is on, and Mitchell wins his side a free kick, left-back position. Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 1. We have 10 minutes of the Premier League to play. Smiling Steve Parish, the Crystal Palace chairman, on screen. He has understandably been gushing in the praise of the Palace players and the manager, Oliver Glasner. And European football for Palace next season. That'll be some There'll be some few months, won't it, down at Selhurst Park? Thursday night's Europa League. It's an atmospheric ground at the best of times. If they get a couple of big teams down there, it'll be the place to be.
Oh, they'll absolutely make it very difficult for teams to come to Selhurst Park. The atmosphere will be phenomenal. They've got that crowd behind the goal that are just incredible at setting the tempo of a game as well. It's a very difficult place to go and play your football from an opposing player point of view. I think it's been an incredible season for them, but it's what they do now in the transfer market to get ready for that, because juggling European football and Premier League football, as many have found out, isn't easy.
Endo, a nonchalant piece of control to kill the ball stone dead inside his own penalty area. Esse was not far from him, and had he got that touch wrong, Esse was 5 yards out with an open goal. As it is, he defended it well, and the ball out of play for a Palace throw. The momentum that Liverpool had generated has just dissipated in the last couple of minutes or so. Palace have done a good job of stemming the tide.
Yeah, they just got a little bit sloppy again in possession, Liverpool, and it's allowed Crystal Palace to get a little bit of possession themselves and counter-attack a couple of times, and that just puts a little bit of fear into Liverpool.
Amad Diallo has scored for Manchester United, which drops Villa back out of Champions League qualification. That's a reprieve for Newcastle, who are still trailing at home to Everton, but Manchester United lead against Aston Villa, who are down to 10 men. So Manchester City, who are now 2-0 up at Fulham, Haaland has scored a penalty. City, Chelsea and Newcastle are making the Champions League. Villa and Forest are missing out, but still 9 minutes to play, as is the case here at Anfield, with Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 1. Is there to be one final push from the 10 men of Liverpool? Ryan Gravenberch shown a straight red card for fouling Kamada. Alexander-Arnold, for once, didn't really look as he played that ball hopefully forward, and Palace can clear, and out of play it goes for a Liverpool throw near side the left. Spider cam again catches our attention as it swoops from one side of the pitch to the other.
You like that, don't you?
I do, and I need to think of a new adjective than swoop, but I can't think of one. Ball played towards Gakpo on the far side, the left edge of the penalty area. Sarr is in the way, and Devaney can bring it clear for Crystal Palace, who you'd think now have a little bit more space in which to operate with one more man. Hasn't really felt it like it. Here is Kamada to Mitchell, and Esse with the run. He's onside, left-hand side of the penalty area. Early ball in. He could have taken a good few touches there. And Nketiah and Munoz, who were the closest to it, in the end were not too close to it. And I just wonder why Esse didn't take that on a bit.
Well, to be honest, I thought he did the right thing by trying to hit that early ball, because it was just took Van Dijk out of the play, and then Van Dijk just puts on the afterburners, and he's so quick to get back into that position. And Nketiah didn't read the early ball. He wanted him to wait, but really good from Van Dijk, I suppose, when he gets back into that area.
Lerma makes his slow progress to the far side, the right, to take this throw, which is 5 or 6 yards away from the corner flag. Palace leading this game 1-0 on 5 Sports Extra. The throw into the heart of the penalty area. Van Dijk heads back where it came, and it's picked up again by Lerma. Back post area is the target. Esse picks it up near side the left. Kamada for company, and Nketiah there too. Esse will try and go the long way around Alexander-Arnold, and Esse beats Alexander-Arnold. Now he's got Endo to try and trick his way past. And there are 3 players trying to dispossess the young Palace winger, and Jota in the end is the man who has to step in and take control. His early ball forward, Nunez was lurking, doesn't get there, but Salah brings him into the game. Didn't really know what he was doing with it, Nunez, but he gets a second chance here with 2 players to aim for in red. One of them is Gakpo, heads down, here's Salah! There's the goal! Salah equalises for Liverpool. The Premier League champions are level. Mo Salah has his goal. The Premier League player of the season. He'll win the Golden Boot for the 4th time. And with 6 minutes to go, Liverpool finally break through. Liverpool 1, Crystal Palace 1.
Well, he has been quiet all afternoon, but as we know with Mohamed Salah, why does he get so many goals? Because he waits for moments in games, and he's waited 86 minutes or so now for that moment to come. A lovely ball dinked to the back post by Darwin Núñez, and credit to Cody Gakpo, who just heads it down, hopeful that it'll fall to either Curtis Jones or Mohamed Salah. It falls into the path of Mohamed Salah and almost scissor kicks it into the top corner. Takes a little bit of a ricochet off one of the Crystal Palace players. But that's what the Liverpool fans have been wanting.
It cannons off Lacroix and into the roof of the net. Mo Salah has his 34th goal of the season, his 29th in the Premier League, comfortably ahead of Alexander Isak for the Golden Boot. What a season he has had, and he might not have been at his prolific best in the last few weeks, but he was on hand there to draw the Premier League champions level. In the midst of all of that, Harvey Elliott is on. He came on for Andy Robertson. Liverpool surging forward again. Gakpo's cross deflected wide. It's a corner to the champions, and now they fancy winning it.
Oh, they will fancy winning it. Absolutely they will. The whole stadium are on the feet. They feel like there's another goal here for them. They'll feel that Crystal Palace will be rocking. They took it quick again.
Corner taken short. Palace is sleeping. The ball into the back post. Núñez was there. Here's the goal scorer for Liverpool, Salah. Dummies, left foot cross. Maybe a shot. Easy for Henderson, who wants to get on with things quickly. Palace with this man advantage, but not too much movement in front of him, so he holds onto the ball and allows the game to settle. 3 and a bit minutes to play. Liverpool 1, Crystal Palace 1. Now the fans are alive. This is what they've come to see. Mitchell for Palace. Early ball in, deflected, and that wasn't too far away from Nketiah. Alisson was confident enough that was reaching him, but had that ball been hit with a little less pace, Nketiah was tapping in for 2-1 Palace.
I just thought, throw yourself at it, give yourself an opportunity. At least if you fling yourself at it, you might get a toe poke on it. And it was a great ball in, wasn't it?
Palace keeping hold of possession with that goal. Mo Salah now has the Premier League record for goal involvements. If you're interested in that sort of thing, beating a record held by Andy Cole and Alan Shearer. That's his 48th goal involvement, Mo Salah. A 2-time player of the season and a 4-time Golden Boot winner, now drawing level with Thierry Henry. That's a Premier League record, but not a top-flight record. There are still a couple of players in front of him. Jimmy Greaves being one, who won it 6 times. And Steve Bloomer, the great Steve Bloomer, and a man who, again, you'll know all about Steve with your Derby connection. Steve Bloomer, who scored many a time for Derby, 5-time he won the Golden Boot.
Incredible, isn't it, to think of the company that Mohamed Salah is in, and you think of the records that them guys set, and so many have failed to match them levels, and so difficult.
Liverpool have the ball, even though they have 10 men. You haven't really noticed that disadvantage since Ryan Gravenberch's sending off quarter of an hour or so ago. And if anyone is going to win this game, you fancy it'll be the 20-time Premier League champions. Early ball from Elliott looking for Salah. That's Lerma in the way. And now Esse wearing the yellow base layer to match his yellow shirt to Munoz, who has plenty of space on that right-hand side. A couple of players dart into the penalty area, both ignored. Devenny, the young Devenny, to Kamada, and Devenny's early pass sweeping out to this left-hand side where Mitchell waits, collects, infield. Kamada, right foot pass, intricately, might have been better off shooting, and that's a foul by Nketiah on Endo, and Liverpool have this free kick deep inside their own half. It's inside their own penalty area. 1-1 as we enter the final minute at Anfield.
Are you going to put your neck on the line? Will there be a goal?
I'm going to say yes.
Which way?
No, I didn't ask me that. I'll just say there's going to be another goal.
Okay.
What about you?
I think there could be. I think it depends on the extra time, the added on time, but I think we could see a goal here.
Okay. Have been goals elsewhere. Arsenal now 2-1 up at Southampton. West Ham 3-1 up at Ipswich. Brighton 3-1 up at Tottenham. And Bournemouth now 2-0 up at home to Leicester. Nearly from Jota, but here come Palace on the counter-attack. Kamada steadies himself and finds Munoz, who has Sarr for company on the overlap. Angle of the penalty area, far side the right. Munoz dinked in the general direction of Sarr. It wasn't a ball played with any great conviction, and then Munoz clips Gakpo, and that'll be a free kick to Liverpool inside their own penalty area. 10 seconds of normal time to play, so we're going to have a little look down to see, well, firstly to see that Mateus Franca's coming on for Palace, and secondly to see how much added on time there will be at the end of this game, and the answer is 5. So 5 minutes for one of these sides to find what would surely be a winner. Or are we going to end this game between the Premier League champions and the FA Cup winners in a draw? Fans in fine voice, the scarves now being waved above the heads everywhere we look, predominantly in the Anfield Road stand to our left. Now the Copper joining in, the chorus strikes up as well. However, the latest move breaks down. Lerma in the way of a ball towards the edge of the penalty area. Sarr's on halfway for Palace, who will probably look to slow things down. There's no real jeopardy on this result, obviously, but they wouldn't want to lose it, having led it for so long. Sarr all the way back to Richards, and this is what it's all about, Stephen Warnock. It was always going to be this kind of atmosphere, win, lose or draw for Liverpool, and the fans are in brilliant voice. Mitchell's ball into the Liverpool penalty area, and Gakpo will clear downfield. It feels like the vocal warm-up before the main event of the trophy being lifted.
Yeah, I do feel that the atmosphere is being added to by that equaliser. I think if it had been Crystal Palace still winning, I think the game would have still been a bit flat. The atmosphere might not have quite been there, but this is what Liverpool fans have been desperate to see. They want that trophy lift. It's almost felt like the game's got in the way today of that trophy lift as the Liverpool fans start singing champions, as that's what they've been shouting for the last few weeks now.
Yeah.
They're so proud of that Premier League title.
Almost a month since they were crowned Premier League champions against Tottenham. That's a lovely ball through, and Sarr is onside, but Alisson out very quickly, and a good job as well. Ismaila Sarr very nearly spoiling the party for a second time. Alisson, as he does so well, very quickly out to defend. Elliott with an early direct ball for Salah. Mitchell heads it out of play. Liverpool throw. A couple of red flares have been ignited. We can smell the acrid smoke as it drifts across Anfield. A fancy rain is coming from our vantage point. We have a view across Liverpool city centre where I think the rain may have already arrived. Mateus Franca is coming on to the field, and I didn't see who came off there.
I think it's Esse. I think he's picked up an injury.
I think you're right. Yes, you're right. Esse is off. So Romain Esse, who's only been on the field for 10 minutes or so, is off. Must be injured. And Mateus Franca, another one who's really struggled with injury this season, is coming on to the field of play.
Yeah, he almost said then as he came to the bench, should I go straight down the tunnel? And he said, no, just park yourself on the bench for a minute.
Giovanni picks up a loose ball in midfield, but then equally plays a very loose pass straight to Franca via Sarr, and here's Sarr again, and Nketiah to win it for Palace. Oh, it's a weak finish. Alisson makes a comfortable save. That was a real opportunity for Palace, and at the other end, Liverpool can make them pay. It's Salah. That's not a good pass. That's very un-Salah-like. Far too overhit for Jota.
Here we go again.
And now Palace fancy winning it. What an end to this game. If we thought both sides would play out a draw to see out the Premier League season, think again. Mateus Franca, right foot, penalty area. Right foot shot always bending wide. Well, there's a couple of opportunities there for Palace, and Nketiah, the best of them. That really should be 2-1 Palace.
Oh, he should have scored. He absolutely should have scored. It was a brilliant opportunity for him. He scuffed it into the floor. Alisson read which way he was going. What an end to the game.
Brighton are now 4-1 up away at Tottenham. Manchester United 2 up at home against Villa. So it looks like Newcastle are making the Champions League. And Anfield is alive. The final minute of the Premier League season will be serenaded by those in red inside Anfield. Another glorious rendition of You'll Never Walk Alone. Can Liverpool find a winner? It's not likely now. We've only got 30 seconds to play, and Palace have a free kick just inside their own half. It'll be a yellow card for Virgil van Dijk to end the season, and I think that will be that. A wonderful season, Stephen, for Liverpool. 20 times top division champions. They will look forward to next season. They'll love to add European success to that. They may well be adding some serious players to this squad. Losing Alexander-Arnold, but keeping Van Dijk, keeping Salah. There's a lot to look forward to if you're of a red persuasion.
Yeah, not many thought that this would happen this season, with Arne Slot coming in and replacing the charismatic, energetic Jurgen Klopp, and he's been his own man. He's put his own stamp on the team. It's been pretty much the same players, but what a job he's done.
And there is the full-time whistle. The final game at Anfield in this unforgettable Premier League season for Liverpool ends in a draw, but the roars akin to a victory. The game finishes Liverpool 1, Crystal Palace 1, but now will follow the moment these Liverpool fans have long craved, denied the opportunity 4 years ago because of COVID-19. They will witness the Premier League trophy being lifted, and there will be a huge noise to greet the lifting of that trophy. The game itself finishes 1-1. Ismaila Sarr with the opening goal for Crystal Palace, a tidy finish after some loose Liverpool play. Mo Salah getting his goal 10 minutes before time, volleying in via Lacroix's deflection. There was also a sending off for Ryan Gravenberch for taking out Kamada when clean through. In truth, the game won't be remembered for long. What will be remembered, the celebrations that are bound to follow. Liverpool 1, Crystal Palace 1, and quickly on the game itself, Stephen, it wasn't quite the all-guns blazing goal fest we were anticipating, but Liverpool eventually coming to life.
It finished well, the game. It was end-to-end for the last 10 minutes or so, with the sending off of Ryan Gravenberch and then Mohamed Salah scoring the goal. It just added to the occasion a little bit. The game itself up until that point wasn't magnificent. It wasn't the game that we were hoping for, but Liverpool fans won't care, Crystal Palace fans won't care. They've both got trophies this season. It's been an incredible end to the season for both teams, and Liverpool fans now will look forward to lifting that trophy.
Yeah, and just describe what this moment will mean for those in red. Denied the chance to do it 4 years ago. Now they get the opportunity, and it's such a cherished moment, isn't it, to see your team lift a Premier League trophy?
Yeah, I mean, I was one of the very fortunate few who was in here working for 5 Live when that trophy lift was on, and it just felt empty. It felt like it wasn't fair on the players. There was a lot of fans outside the ground and around the city centre, but they just couldn't watch the team lift that trophy and almost praise the players for what they'd done that season. It was an incredible season. Many say there was an asterisk against it. Well, this season there isn't an asterisk. There isn't anything that anyone can say against this Liverpool team and the way that they have been so strong and dominated the league this season, and it means a lot to the fans here, and you can see it, you can hear it as well.
And a final word on Crystal Palace. Their fans staying behind to applaud their players. I think what else is there to say about their season? FA Cup winners, Europe next season, a record points total in the Premier League. They didn't start well. They lost the Lycée. Many wondered whether it would be a step too far, but they've had a brilliant season themselves.
They've been phenomenal, absolutely brilliant. A really tough start, like you say, and many teams could struggle in that situation and find it very difficult. They didn't. They built and they grew as a team, and they got stronger and stronger. Phenomenal in the FA Cup, and now they've got an exciting European campaign ahead of them.
Stephen, appreciate your time. It's been great to be with you for this final day of the Premier League season. The trophy lift will be over on 5 Live. Sports Report about to get underway. Mark Chapman will guide you through that and all of the other Premier League stories. Here on 5 Sports Extra at Anfield, we leave you. The Premier League champions will be crowned. The final results of this unforgettable season for Liverpool ends. Liverpool 1, Crystal Palace 1.
At Anfield at the moment, they are waiting, John Murray.
We are. Everyone's waiting here, but Stephen Warnock sitting alongside me, former Liverpool and England defender, and it is impossible, isn't it, to sit here and not think of 2020 when Anfield was empty, apart from the families, and we watched the presentation on the Kop. This is what it's supposed to be like.
Oh, this is everything that Liverpool fans and players around that time wanted. They wanted to show their appreciation to the team. They wanted to see that trophy being lifted. And after 5 long years, they get that opportunity again. They thought it might have been a little bit quicker, but it's been 5 years in the making, and they are going to celebrate like they've never celebrated before.
And what's a nice touch here, John. I'm just watching, various members of the backroom staff, and I'm guessing office staff as well, who are all out on the pitch, and maybe some academy players are in there as well, just looking at who's standing there. But what is going to happen is when that trophy is handed over to Virgil van Dijk, it's going to be handed over by Alan Hansen.
Well, exactly so, and that is a great touch. And if you remember, back in 2020 on the Cup, on that specially constructed stage, it was Sir Kenny Dalglish who handed the trophy to Jordan Henderson then. So I think there's a lovely piece of symmetry for it to be Alan Hansen, particularly today, because in 1990 it was Alan Hansen, great Liverpool central defender, who picked up the trophy, and today he'll be handing it to another great Liverpool central defender, Virgil van Dijk. I'm
just going to head to Tottenham because there's another guard of honour there. And this one, Alison Bruce Ball, it looks like it's... I can't really tell from the camera. It looks like it's made up of former Tottenham players.
Yeah, I mean, some great names and faces down there. I've just been peering through the binoculars. Ozzy Ardiles and Ricky Villa. How cool is Ricky Villa looking with a flat cap on, the white beard, tall figure in the grey suit. Loads of Tottenham greats down there. Even Keith Birkinshaw, former manager, his appearance got a massive roar. Ozzy Ardiles, as you said, Mark Falco, Martin Chivers, Pat Jennings. And at the moment, the current players are just walking through that tunnel which has formed either side of the halfway line, and all of them just stopping and chatting and being congratulated by those Tottenham legends on their achievement this week. That first trophy in 17 years. And Son Heung-min, I imagine, Mark, he is struggling to let that giant Europa League trophy out of his sight at any point, cradling it like a little child.
And Ange Postecoglou has just given a big hug to Keith Birkinshaw as well. And I have to say, and as we've just mentioned, I've just seen Alan Hansen come out behind the Premier League trophy at Anfield. It is so nice, John Murray and Stephen Warnock, to see those who have had success at a club in the past passing it on to the current generation. It's a lovely touch by both Tottenham and Liverpool.
I think it's brilliant. I think it's something that a lot of clubs have really been looking to achieve over the last few years, is bring former players in and not shy away from the past and almost champion it within the club and say that's what we used to have, what are we going to bring now. And it's brilliant to see that Alan's still looking so fit and healthy as well, and being given this opportunity to hand over the trophy.
And I see as well that the television cameras have picked out Jordan Henderson. He's here in the stands, the man who is the captain.
He's had a good weekend.
I was going to say, he's been busy, hasn't he? He was at Wembley yesterday.
Hasn't he just? And now you hear the ovation from all of the people inside Anfield, because Arne Slot is leading out the Liverpool team. There's purple everywhere, a purple carpet that leads from the arch on the side of the pitch, and they've all got the same shirts on, Liverpool shirts, with champions 24-25 written across the back of them. And Arne Slot wastes no time. He's immediately up there onto the stage, and Richard Masters, it is, the chief executive of the Premier League, places the winner's medal around his neck. What a season he has had. Arend Martin Slot, 46 years old, 1 year after succeeding Jurgen Klopp, who is applauding and smiling from up in the stands. Arne Slot becomes the first Dutch manager to win the English League title. And now, one by one, we see them receive their awards. Alison Becker, heavily bearded.
I just watched read Alan Hansen's lips as Alisson picked up his medal, and he said, "What a goalkeeper you are." Just a tap on the shoulders.
Well, he produced that performance in front of our eyes, didn't he? Ibrahima Konate, 26 years old today, gets a Premier League winner's medal on his birthday. What about that? And Wataru Endo, a bit part player but came on to play in central defence today. Harvey Elliott, this might be the end of the road for him at Liverpool. We'll see about that. And Joe Gomez now has been injured for such a long time during the course of this season. And he is one of the most popular players around Anfield, the left back, Andy Robertson. Conor Bradley went off at half-time today. Listen to this one now. Jarrell Kwanzaa stepping forward. Conor Bradley went off at half-time. Trent Alexander-Arnold came on to replace him. Ryan Gravenberch now is the next man to step forward. Quaveen Kelleher, and of course Georgi Mamadashvili comes back from Valencia this summer.
Well, I think you have to remember the part that Quaveen Kelleher played at the beginning of the season when Alisson was injured. He played a huge part in the successful clean sheets at the beginning of the season, a foundation that was built on a great defence that has allowed them to win the title.
Alexis McAllister, who's got an injury, but he's got his full kit on. Darwin Núñez waves with both hands, and if you're wondering, they are keeping Trent Alexander-Arnold back. It looks as though he might be the last man. Well, he is the vice-captain, let's not forget that.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant, made up, delighted.
That reaction speaks volumes. He had a tear in his eye at the end of the match. He had a lump in his throat, and that ovation there will mean the world to Trent Alexander-Arnold.
He just kissed the badge as well. He just kissed the badge there, Trent Alexander-Arnold. It means so much to him, a local lad. It wouldn't have been an easy decision to leave.
Well, here he comes now. Virgil van Dijk steps forward. Handshake from Richard Masters of the Premier League, and now a hug from Alan Hansen. What an image that is. Virgil van Dijk and Alan Hansen together.
It's a partnership that would have been.
Well, wouldn't it just? And now, all of the people here, this is the moment that they came to see. Alan Hansen gives Virgil van Dijk the Premier League trophy, and Virgil van Dijk walks across, and in front of all of his teammates, Virgil van Dijk hoists the Premier League trophy. Liverpool, the champions for 2024-25. And this time, we don't need to imagine all the people as we had to back in 2020. Now, today, they can all share it together. Anfield can be as one. The ticker tape goes up. Red ticker tape all over Anfield. Fireworks go off. Flames go up. Red smoke everywhere. What a brilliant scene.
Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And this is what we missed 5 years ago, John. The reaction when the players lift that trophy. It was soulless last time. This is what you wanted. This is what we expected today. Incredible scenes. What an atmosphere it is. Quite brilliant.
And they're now giving the trophy to Arne Slot. Another huge cheer. Arne's champions. There's a banner in the corner of Anfield. There's another one as well which reads Champiana, which I quite liked. And also another one just down in the corner of the Kop which says he brought us number 20 and his name is Arne Slot. And that's what they've got. This Premier League title means that Liverpool are champions for a record equalling 20th time. They're together. Manchester United, they won their 20th in 2013, and now in 2025 Liverpool have drawn level. And the celebrations on this bank holiday weekend, it's the parade tomorrow. Let's not forget Crystal Palace are having a parade as well down in South London tomorrow. But Merseyside will be absolutely buoyant.
Oh, well, I think 500,000 people turned out for Istanbul when they bought the Champions League home. I think close to 700,000 turned out for the next Champions League after Madrid. But this is going to be huge. This will be absolutely monumental tomorrow. It's going to be incredible.
Yeah, the sun's come out as well to boot, and they are dancing. All of those Liverpool players and all of the staff, many of them in tracksuits, the owners, all of the ownership is down there somewhere as well. We can barely see them, can we, from way up here, Mark? Looking through all of the smoke, it's like a fine mist is hanging over Anfield. But
well,
John, I think someone's dropped the trophy.
They've just
as well.
broken the trophy at the moment because the crown's come off. So it's taken 6 of them to work out how to put it back on. But do you know what, Stephen? I was just all of that. There were so many touches that just felt very appropriate. So they alternated, Richard Masters and Alan Hansen, who gave the medals, and Hansen gave. No, I'm not going to read all of them that Hansen gave the medals to, but Hansen gave the medal to Virgil van Dijk and obviously the trophy to Virgil van Dijk. He gave the medal to Alexander Arnold and had a chat with Alexander Arnold, and he gave the medal to Andy Robertson as well, a Scotland captain as well who has followed in his footsteps. So there were just little touches there, and then once Van Dijk had lifted the trophy, he handed it to Salah and he lifted it, and then Robertson and Alexander Arnold lifted it together, and then Alexander Arnold lifted it on his own. There were just lots of little touches that felt like whether they choreographed it or whether it happened by chance, it worked.
Well, you obviously think they choreographed it.
Well, no, I don't. I don't.
No, it is. It's a lovely touch, and it'll mean a lot to them players with Alan Hansen and the legacy that he's got at the football club, the success he's had, to be able to receive the medals off him. And I'm a little bit lost for words here because I think this is brilliant to see the players enjoying it so much. But what I've noticed at Liverpool since FSG have come in, the thought behind what goes on is meticulous, and I think that is credit to the way the football club is being run since they've come in. This will be so well planned over the last 2-3 months because you have to plan way ahead of schedule, and I think the parade will be extra special again tomorrow. But this is brilliant.
Yeah, and for Alan Hansen to be here, Sir Kenny Dalglish as well. There's so many nods to old Liverpool.
Jurgen Klopp is there as well.
Yes, he is. As the Liverpool players now taking the trophy to the cup, and they've broken away, and Alisson it is who's got the trophy in his hands, and I think as well as a kind of nod to how it used to be. I think all of this transfer activity that we're talking about, that's how old Liverpool used to do it as well. Win the league and then strengthen.
Yeah, I think when you look at what Liverpool have potentially have done in the last few days, I think it's incredible. I think they'll probably go in for another 3 or 4. I just think that, like Alan Shearer said before, you have to strengthen when you're at the top, and that's certainly what Liverpool look to be doing so far.
Chris Coles is our man pitch side for this, going to get us some reaction, and the Liverpool players are right in front of you at the moment, Chris.
They are right in front of the Kop goalmouth, and one by one they are taking in turns to lift the Premier League trophy. Joe Gomez didn't get on the pitch today, the latest to lift it. Mo Salah got a huge ovation, and all the players you can hear are getting the Kop going. The latest player to lift the trophy, Trent Alexander-Arnold, who gets a huge ovation. He taps his chest, he points to the badge. When he came on at half-time, he was roundly applauded. He got a massive cheer when he received his gold medal, his winner's medal, and all the Liverpool players with red ticker tape absolutely everywhere. And still the smell of smoke in the air. Andy Robertson, the latest to lift the trophy. Special memories and special moments for all inside the Kop, who are only themselves several yards away from where all this is taking place.